Says I am live. I want to welcome you. This is Tom from the INFJ Experience, and this is a live broadcast. Okay, just waiting for my internet here to catch up. I want to make sure I can see my live here as well, people. Well, anyway, how are you? It is a beautiful day up here in the United States of America. I could tell you today feels like a spring day, almost, I should say. Okay, here we go. I could tell you today feels like a spring day. Hold on, I got a sound check going here. Okay, here we go. I can tell you today feels like a spring day. Hold on. Got a little delay there. Okay, people. Okay, since I have one watching, well, hello there. Yes, this is a random live broadcast, and I want to say hello. And as I said before, this is the INFJ Experience, and what I do is I cover the MBTI type, basically, and I focus on the one in particular, the rarest of all rare personality types, the INFJ. Yes, and I cover this one mainly because I got a little bit of knowledge into this one because I pretty much am one. And I found this out about almost 4 years ago, and I just happened to find it on a algorithm here on YouTube. And I started looking into the MBTI type, and I tell you, it very much aligned with who I was, and it solved so many questions that I had, so many confusing thoughts in my mind through my life where it helped me to resolve some of them. Now, people, I'm just trying to adjust my phone here so I get a good view here. Okay. Kind of doing these technical things as we go along here, you know. So I basically did that. It helped me along quite a bit, quite substantially, and it helped me to understand myself. I looked more into the personality type. I started understanding the way the mind thinks, and I realized that there's 15 other types, that they're all broken into these categories that represent each one of our functions and how we make decisions, how we are, just basically how we live our life, how our personalities are. I mean, the main ones. Okay, obviously the I is for introversion. The N is intuitiveness. Feeling is the feeling, basically more of emotional side, and the judging, which is more of a idea of keeping things in check and order. And of course, on the flip side, you have the ESTP, which is basically, that would be an actual opposite of INFJ, but that would be extroverted, the sensing, perceiving, thinking and perceiving, excuse me, TP. Now, these are the flip sides. So each one of the personalities take these and they pretty much balance them. And now there's 16 different combinations that could be taken out of these 8 major functions. All right. So, yeah, it's been devised for about maybe the last, I'd say, well, Carl Jung started exploring that. I mean, he passed away in 1961, and he was prevalent probably in the 30s, 40s, 50s is when he was making most of his findings in psychology. And I think it really after he passed on is when a lot of his knowledge had been basically taken to the next level. Of course, Myers-Briggs was a mother-daughter that took the whole concept of the INFJ into Jethro. You're out there early. Oh gosh, yes. You know what, Jethro? I just thought I'd do a couple hours. It is early live. How are you, Jethro? Good to see you, man. I know we said Friday night. I'm still on to that. I just thought I'd do a little bit of one early on just to see who's out there. So good to see you, Jethro. All right. But it was taken on by basically, like I said, the Myers-Briggs was a mother-daughter, and they organized 16 different personality types. And Carl Jung basically he expanded into figuring out a lot about the introverted intuitive mind. He went beyond what Sigmund Freud did in psychology in so many ways. Now, he had a radical concept. In some ways, he's very deep and very, very deep as we understand. I mean, pretty much the introverted intuitive mind understands this, because a lot of times these are unfathomable to, let's say, certain personality types that don't have the same type of depth, the same type of complex mind that introverted intuitives have in particular. So a lot of times he's not understood by certain ones, but he's widely understood by those types. All right, and I believe I read somewhere that he was an introverted intuitive. He might have been an INFJ as well. So, but basically that's what the show is about. That's what the program is. And if you steered here, then yeah. But I just want to let you know, people, whoever three watching, it was up to five. It bounces around a little bit early on. Okay, and so what was I saying? Good gosh, I lost my train of thought, people. No, my basically, I like to interact. I open these lines up. I usually look at the posts. I look at the texts, and if people ask questions or they leave their comments, and I try to interact with as many people as I can. And if you have a question, a concern, anything like that, usually you jumpstart me too. You ask a few questions. Jethro, I'm sure you know this about me. Jethro, I've actually, I've seen Jethro here before. And he knows once you start asking me questions, it just puts me into a kind of a speech almost, right? I have to kind of watch myself because I do run off a little bit. But I think it's meaningful, though. The thing is, I try to be meaningful when I do these things. That's all I can do. I try to have meaning, some depth, and deep conversation into this personality. Now, the reason I think that the INFJ personality type really seems to be drawn to the MBTI type is because they have such a confused mind, because they've been so misunderstood most of their life. They've had a very confused mind. They've had a very mind that they basically can't understand. They're actually misunderstood by other people, and a lot of times their own mind is misunderstanding to themselves because of this as well. So you have to take that into a fact that a lot of times through the course of the life of these types, they're looking to find out more about themselves. They want to figure themselves out. They want questions answered. They want to find relief from their chaotic mind. I should say it can be chaotic at times. It's not constantly. There are times it's in relief. It's kind of like a roller coaster ride. I mean, there are certain times you're in chaos. Sometimes you're in like deep sadness. Sometimes you're happy, depending on the situation. It's a mixture of emotions. It's an emotional roller coaster ride through life. But the low parts, these ones that devastate us, can last for, it seems like days, weeks sometimes, where we're just trying to figure out what it is, what's going on. And sometimes we go into isolation, where we shut other people out. We build walls in order to heal ourselves. When the world is getting too loud, too uncomfortable, too chaotic for us, we end up shutting down a little bit, and we just need to step back out of the world for a little while to find solitude, so we can find some kind of peace and learn more about ourselves. And during these moments, we usually go very, very deep in our psyche, very deep in our soul, looking for answers as deep as we can. That is the introverted intuitive part, is that they're so introverted. Now, INFJs, of course, and other ones are too, they're very introspective as well, because they're in their mind all the time. They're always searching for some kind of answer, some kind of fulfillment within themselves. Now, usually through the course of the life, as I said, it is very confusing. But once you start finding a channel that talks about the MBTI, and they start narrowing down this particular personality, and when it starts to resonate, when you start seeing traits and all these things start making sense, it's actually quite a relief. I can only say that it's very much of a relief to find out that you're not alone. That you're not alone. You have a very rare type, and all this misunderstanding. I mean, it's kind of sad in a way to think other people have what you have. I mean, to think, oh my gosh, there's other people living like this. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. It's so it's just a very it can be a lifetime of discovery, but also it's a very painful, very suffering type personality as well. We have here Ed 2398. Okay, hi. Hello, Ed. Can I call you Ed? Okay. Well, how you doing, Ed? Good to meet you. All right. So yeah, we got 6 people watching now. That's awesome. But basically, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I started this channel, people, is for that very reason. But the fact that it helped me so much to discover my type, to finally understand that this is a personality type. It is just a type that's very rare, and it helped me out. It helped me to explore a little bit more into the types, and also it helped me to talk to basically you out there on these channels, on these other blogs, other INFJs, and sometimes the way they word things, the way they type things, you can understand them. I mean, yeah, they have a different way of looking at the life. I mean, no two personalities are identical. It's just that their alignments are right. I mean, they're all individual people. You don't have the identical personalities, but your decision making, your functions are all in a line. And typically you can relate to that. You can relate to that kind of thinking when you find that out. Hi, Jeth. Jeth. Oh, you can call me Emma too. Okay. Ed, Emma. Okay. All right. I'm just reading your address thing there, and it says Ed thing, but Emma. I'll try to remember that. Ed, Emma. Okay. And then you got hi Jeth. I don't know who Jeth is, but oh, Jethro. Oh yeah, you must know Jethro, do you? Okay. If you know now Emma, did you? I don't know. I don't remember seeing your handle there before, so I just don't remember that. But maybe you were on here one other time. I can't remember. Were you part of a live before? Because I'm starting to do some of these lives a little bit more often lately. That's all. I am new. I don't know anybody. Oh, that's okay. Well, you know me now. Okay, we know each other now. My name's Tom, as you know. All right. But I like your videos. Oh, you've seen my videos. Well, thank you. And do you have any ones that you like in particular? Have some of them? Listen, I like feedback like this, and I'm glad you're telling me this. I mean, have they helped out? Have they actually, just opened your eyes a little bit? That's my goal, is just to reach out and know that they're being effective, that somebody's getting something out of them. You know what I mean? Nice to meet you, Tom. Yes. And I've been following you for a while. Oh, okay. All right. Well, finally, I got a live and you just happen to be there then. That's awesome. I like that. That's cool. But, yeah. And I like making the videos. I do make them. I've got one that I've got aired coming out tomorrow, late tomorrow. And we got Peace. Hello, Peace. Peace 25. How you doing? Hi, Tom. I thought I'd check in for a little bit. It's good to hear from you, Peace. I hope you're feeling better. I know you've been having some things go on with your neck and things like that. And the last time we conversed, you said you were getting some cortisone shots in your neck. I hope that's helping out a little bit. I know they just help out for a bit. You got to stay on them every few months, I know. But hopefully things are going well, I hope. I want you to make sure, I hope you keep in good spirits. I know sometimes ailments can damper our outlook on life when things aren't working right, when we're in pain, when we have things that are debilitating us. And it can be very dampening to the soul. I can only imagine, but and there's a lot of complications come from that. Like I said, financial ones and different things. But hopefully, if you find something that's gonna, I'm hoping God leads you to a good place, okay, where things work out to the best for you, okay. Okay, I know. I know I saw the live link and I wanted to join. Well, I'm glad you did. Emma. All right, awesome. Yes. Well, so it was a live link then. I mean, I would imagine now that it must reach out to, if you're a subscriber, then especially subscribers they'll get that live link especially. That's why it's important sometimes to have a subscription so that you're the first people to know. That's how that works. I mean, you're the first ones to get to know when new videos come out. They steer right into your algorithm. First ones to know when a live comes out. Now, sometimes they do these later on at night. Sometimes Jethro's been hanging around with me later at night, right, Jethro? He's still out there, right? And some others too. And there's some others, and sometimes we get carried away, and we talk about stuff. Well, I mean, I do all the talking. I mean, they get me going though. They throw little comments out there, and it gets me going. You know what I mean? So, exactly, haha, yes. Yeah, but if there's any concerns you have, anybody would like to discuss something or have a question, maybe a concern, anything like that. I mean, I'd like to troubleshoot it. And you know what else? Sometimes you leave a comment and you'll get a comment back from other people watching that have a brilliant response as well. So it's not you're getting more than just me. You're getting a lot of input from everybody watching. Okay. So we're all kind of watching each other's backs around here in a way. You know what I mean? I like the last short video you uploaded about the door slam. I just came up with that one just recently. I just put that in there a couple hours ago. And I was thinking about that. I just thought it was called collateral damage. It goes like, in other words, we get the door slam. Yeah, we door slam people. But also it expands into things that we love, basically. We can pretty much unlove anything that doesn't work right in our life, even if it's just hobbies or things. And if they don't align with, sometimes we have to part with these things. But typically we have a way of disconnecting our mind from these things, and we're able to cope much better. It's almost like we have a detachment. We have that detachment clause. In fact, I think I had a video on that too. We can detach fairly easy. I mean, we're very, very solid in something that gives us passion. We're very drawn and very resolute in certain things. But if it doesn't align, if it's more painful than it is, or if it's more damaging to us and it's bringing more of a conflict, yeah, we can detach as well. It's funny that we got that. So, okay, the injections is helping just a little bit. My doctor wants me to see a spine specialist. Thanks, Tom. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, it's helping a little bit then. Yeah. Yeah. I hope things work out for you though, Peace. Definitely. Yeah. Like I said, we chatted before, and I know you're in some trouble over there, and I'm sure that sometimes things just happen our way. Sometimes when we least suspect it, we think we're in the down in the dumps. You know what I mean? In our mind, we go through this many times in our life, where we feel like we're in conflict with our mind, and eventually it is not all in vain. It is all for something, because we eventually find some kind of peace. Eventually, at least I know I did. I mean, all this mental anguish that we go through, and sometimes I can imagine that even the physical anguish, maybe something will just start manifesting for you. You know what I mean? In that way. Sometimes the Lord works in mysterious ways. I am in the middle of a situation where I am learning to balance my empathy with my self-respect toward other people's attitudes and energy. And that video was like fresh air. Which one was that? Was that the recent one? Are you talking about the one today? Or are you talking about another one? Because there's other videos I put on about empathy as well. About learning how to master empathy, yes. And just understanding you have it. Yes, the one about the door slam. Oh, okay. So that's like a breath of fresh air then, huh? Okay. Well, like I said, I mean, that's just part of our detachment clause. That's just part of what we do. But I'm glad that helped out a little bit. Now, I got a couple other videos on empathy. There's a couple that are mastering your empathy. I got a couple that are like a few months ago, I put a couple out. Well, they're in my inventory, and then there's one, it's like, yeah, I got this one called How to Become a Master emotional vampire slayer. I kind of put I put the title in there, and the thumbnail is kind of like making it look like a movie, like a, like Van Helsing. He's a vampire slayer. I went to get Dracula, Van Helsing. I was kind of in that idea there, but in my own way. But I explain how basically how we finally, if when you start understanding your emotions, you project them out. You can actually project your empathy out. You don't absorb it anymore. You can detect emotions. You can feel them. You'll feel like you're absorbing them, but sometimes you'll know when you're detecting them. As you start understanding your empathy, you'll know when you're in a certain room, you feel it change, but you'll know it's not you. Because most of our life we go through thinking it's us. And we think somehow a bad mood just entered us, but we've detected somebody's emotion. But a lot of times when we're naive, we don't know this. But as we understand, and you start understanding your empathy, and as you start to really fine tune it and understand it, you'll start detecting things, and you'll start reading rooms better. You'll feel the empathy from people without knowing it. It won't change you because you know it's outside of you. Yeah, but I had a couple videos on that. Okay, I always watch your videos, and I must say, they always arrive on time. Oh, so they're timed then. Okay, all right. Okay, good. Now let me ask you something. Are you from the United States? Or are you from a foreign country? Or so see, obviously I'm from the U.S. I've got that really awful New England accent going here. I kind of give it away with my accent, I'm sure. I always okay. Well, thank you. I'm glad that the videos are helping you out, and they, like you said, if they're arriving on time for you, then somehow they're meant to be in a way. Yes, I live in the U.S. Well, that's good. I would figure most of the audience right now is going to be either North American, because this is a time zone that's going to really I'm going to reach out to a lot within our time zone. I figure right now it is 4:12 my time, Eastern time. So wherever you are, it's 4, 3, 2, 1. It's prime time. It's actually prime time, right in the middle afternoon. People are probably winding down, things like that. Oh, as an INFJ, I'm used to being able to do things with creativity. It's not easy when you're in pain every day, and I can't physically do the things I once enjoyed. So lifting anything. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I've been, yeah, I see little things going on like that. And I'm sorry to hear that, but of course, I mean, again, it's all part of like finding new ways to cope. And I'm sure that now that you're looking for certain like, assistances and things like that through medical assistances. I'm sure that eventually as things go, you'll have to make adjustments to a new lifestyle that's going to have to balance around that. But I hope that goes well. I mean, all I can say is I hope you can find it within yourself, despite what's going on, find some kind of a sense of peace within yourself, a sense of like within your soul. I mean, maybe the body. Sometimes the body may be going through what it is, but a lot of times the soul has to be separate from that as well. I know that takes a long time of it takes a lifetime of discipline and a lot of soul searching to get to those levels. But yeah, oh peace, I got you. Someday I feel the same. However, I love to see there is a community I can relate to. Oh, there you go. There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes. So, but I guess we all, you know what? We all have our cross to bear, as the old saying goes. I mean, sometimes you got to look back to the life of some of these prophets, even our own Lord, and you look at the suffering he had went through just to and he willingly knew what he was going to go through, and he prophesied, he knew what was going to happen, but it was his destiny. It was his destiny, but he managed to make sure that his soul, his spirit was somehow above even the physical pain that he was going through when he was being crucified and when he was being tested in that way. And I mean, he was able to forgive the people as he hung on the cross. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So he found it within his heart not to hate them, not to resent them for what they did to him. I mean, that's kind of like, that's the inspiration we need, is to see things like that. That's part of like the lessons that we learned on every stage of that cross. In other words, hello, Tommy Bond, and, and chosen ones, chosen ones. There you go, Jason here. How you doing, Jason? Haven't seen you in a while. Fist bump, huh? Hey, everybody, fist bump, huh? I hope you're in better days ahead for you, Peace. Yes, of course. Yeah, definitely. Okay, hey, we got Jason. Now, Jason's from the UK. I do believe he's from Wales. Yes. See, I try to remember where everybody's from, what state you're from. I try to have a kind of a geographical understanding of where we're all from. That's all. It's funny, like my mind works like that. But yeah, that's good. So hey, we have 12. All right, awesome. Hello, everyone. Yes, yes. Hello, everyone say hello to Jason there, huh? So, but yeah, but a lot of times that's what we have to do. We have to see those lessons too, is and see the perseverance and from those who gave it all. Like I said, I mean, the ultimate sacrifice was our Lord, right? But that can only be our inspiration right there. I mean, that's who we're supposed to follow in that way. So, but definitely, I hope things go well for you. That's all. Yeah, Tommy Bond. So Jason gave me that nickname, Tommy Bond. I think that's because I had the cool suit jacket, right? And I just got my hair cut. Remember about a couple weeks ago, I still had that beard. I let everything grow. You must remember that, right? I'm sure some of you remember some of my earlier videos. I was getting a little shaggy there. I was letting the hair grow, let the beard grow. But then again, it was winter, and it was keeping the face warm. You know what I mean? So, I was good with it. I liked it until I wasn't. You know what I mean? One day I just wasn't good with it, and I had to get rid of it. I just said, okay, barber time. I go to the barber, let him clean me up, That's it, Gave him like a $10 tip. So I think I gave actually, I went to give him I gave him like $9, and that wasn't, it kind of looked like, oh, geez, that's it. I'm like, all right, here's another buck, So, full moon, feeling good. Oh, tonight's a full moon. That's right. I think I saw that. Full moon then, huh? Okay, awesome. But, yeah, but anyway, so, Emma, I'm glad you're saying that you watched the videos and you finally got a chance to see a live, which I'm glad you did attend. And if you're still out there, I'm glad you're getting some kind of you like them. Yeah. All I can say is I mean, I know some videos are better than others, and I know some of my earlier videos, even though they didn't get a lot of airtime, there's some way back in my inventory. This when I first started, and I was still new. I was kind of a babe in the woods trying to do these videos, but some of them weren't bad. Some of them were just me starting out, and I still needed to get a certain stage presence, I guess you could say, a certain camera presence. And it does take practice. You'd think that it comes easy. Anybody could do it, or, you just look and talk in a camera. But a lot of times it takes a little practice. I mean, you're staring into a camera. You're not looking at somebody, but you're trying to also understand that you're not just looking at a device. You are talking beyond. You have to always keep that in the back of your mind, that there is an audience back there, and that there are people that are going to see these recordings. So I had to find that out. But some of them I was a little bit, I wasn't editing them quite enough. Like I didn't edit them like I do now. So, but some of them aren't bad. Some of them are still pretty good for what they are. It's just like I said, when I first started out, some of these videos might have gotten maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 views in like a month. And some I thought they go up to 30. I'm like, hey, that's a lot. You know what I mean? You're starting out and all of a sudden you see 50 and you're like, whoa, I can't believe it. I got 50 views and it took me 2 months to get to 50, So it's all part of a climb. So was Marcus Aurelius an empath? What do you think? He was an emperor of Rome. I believe it was AD, sometime AD, I believe. And I believe he was not an emperor. He was one of the Caesars. He served as one of those. I believe he was an INFJ. Now, Jason, honestly, I got to be honest with you. I know who he is. I've heard of him. I haven't read a lot of his sayings, but I know he was very philosophical, and I believe he was also an INFJ. So I'm going to say, I mean, chances are, I mean, if he was that type, if he was a INFJ, more than likely he had a touch of empathy. I really don't know exactly how much of it he did, but yeah. Well, maybe you can answer a little bit as that, Jethro. You should try not to edit your lives as much. Keep it authentic as possible. Keep up the good work. Yeah, thank you, Jethro. I don't cut them out too much. I mean, if I do edit them, I might edit the very beginning, or maybe the little bit of technical difficulties I've had, trying to set up the camera early on. I'll cut those out and then I'll just start. But usually I don't edit out the whole middle part. So I don't look at, like, if I could do a 3 hour live, I won't just look at it for 3 hours and try to cut it up. It's like, oh, I burped here. I better cut that out. I don't do that. So, but yeah. So anyway, it's good to see everybody. I'm trying to get a different time zone here, a different time thing going here. But yeah, Marcus Aurelius was a leader and also had aimed to inspire others to become leaders. I also think he was an INFJ. I heard he was. Yes, I did hear that he was. Matter of fact, if you ever heard that guy, the INFJ Circle, Jay Scott, he does. He does all the INFJ, and he says he does a whole lot of reading, and he quotes Marcus Aurelius all the time. I mean, there's a lot of, like, very profound quotes that he came up with, and I guess, but they really hit home. I guess when we hear another INFJ from history, a lot of times we testify to it, we're witness to it, because it's just something that touches, like, our own experience, literally, because we know what a lot of, well, we pretty much go through a lot of these same bouts. There's certain things about our character that are pretty much universal. We all have certain things that are, like, in common, very, like, crucial, like, things that are like, okay, all INFJs have that certain stare. All of them have a certain, the door slam type, or all of them are introspective. We all have our own bouts with our own inner conflicts. So we all have that knowledge of it. So, and a lot of times we know when somebody quotes a certain thing, a philosophical quote, we know where it's coming from. We know it's probably coming from a deep, deep introspection point in their life, where they're deep in their soul searching, looking for that relief, looking for some kind of clarity of their confusion. And that's where it's coming from when they make these quotes. You're like, yeah, you can see that, you can tell. So pattern recognition recognizes pattern recognition. Very good one, Jethro. Yeah, exactly. That's basically what I'm saying. Okay. John Shutter. He's got the eyes looking. I'm seeing you too there, John. I'm seeing you. I seen John. How are you? Good to see you joining the chat. That's good to see that. Huh? I've seen John before. He's been out here. He's joined the chat. He's been on these lives, so I'm seeing some familiar faces. See, I try to have a photographic memory, or a memory, and I know who I've seen before, and I know who I've talked to. So I try to keep a good inventory of everybody that I'm seeing out here. Okay, Emma. Yes, that is true. Jeth. Oh, Jeth. Yeah, Jeth, bro. See, she got a nickname for you. She calls you Jeth. All right. Hey, that's a good one. Yeah, Jeth. Exactly. But that's why a lot of times they resonate. A lot of times you can tell certain philosophers, when they're introverted intuitives especially. And when they resonate with you and you can really relate to them, chances are they're that type. Yeah. And yeah, we are pattern recognizing machines. I do it without me knowing. Yeah, of course we do. It's just what we do. I mean, a lot of times we don't even know, like you said, what we're doing. You don't realize that you're always checking out certain clues and you're always analyzing a certain area. I know, the old saying is that INFJs have the, they're least dominant function is extroverted sensing. Okay. Now I understand that's true, but also understand too that it's also a very strong. There's also ways of picking up on extroverted sensing. I mean, we might lack in some ways extrovertedly, like in the way we, maybe the way we work, maybe the way we try to put together our job function at the moment. If you're doing a job that's like fast paced right in the moment, it's difficult for us. You know, if we have a job that takes a little bit of long term forecasting and you're all, maybe that's a perfect job. But a lot of times that's where it's our downside. And when we're trying to just grab tools or something or trying to get things done in that moment, a lot of times it's not good for us. Like extroverted sensing. And a lot of times we may get so wrapped up in our thoughts and our mind that we'll forget to eat, forget to drink, forget to, certain things. I mean, sometimes I've had that happen where I'd be getting so wrapped up in things that then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so hungry. I felt like I got so hungry, I'm getting jittery. I'm like, how did I go so long? Because I got so wrapped up in things. But my point is, people, is that despite you have that extroverted sensing that is inferior for that reason, that it interferes that way, you have a very heightened perception of things in certain ways in what benefits us. In other words, you might see a room and all of a sudden your extroverted sensing is sharp as a tack. When you're seeing certain facial recognitions, facial expressions, certain tones of voice, declinations of tones, rising in tones when people are talking, to see how genuine they are. You see, your senses right now are very sharp for that. Your ears and way you're hearing things, maybe looking at certain things in a room, you will see things out of place. You may walk into a room and it'll be a certain way. Maybe you'll see it every day for a week, it'll be a certain way. Then all of a sudden, there's a piece of furniture that's changed, or something's a little bit out of place. INFJs will see that. They're very, they're observant to fine details. But these are senses. This is your eyes, this is your ears. You'll start picking up on that because this is our introverted intuition that is heightened. So, for gathering information for your introversion like that, your intuition, I should say, you have a sharper way. Your extroverted sensing is sharper in that way. Now, these are observations I've seen over the course of my life. Okay, so we lack in some ways, but we excel in these other ways. I mean, hey, it's like if you were born blind, or if you were born without ears, or you couldn't hear, hearing impaired, whatever. If you had something, or if you were lacking a limb, something. Well, bottom line is, if you are lacking a sense, then your other senses become alive. Like Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder. I'm just using these artists as an example. They're musical talented because their ears are sharper and crisper because they're hearing things. Their sense of touch and their sense of smell become more heightened when they lack a certain sense. Okay? Now that's my point, is the fact that because we're so lacking in that extroverted sensing world, like I described, we make up for it in our observation, in our perception, in our gathering of our intuition. Okay? See where that led me to? Okay. Hidden harpsa. Hey, have a superpower of immediate spotting. Oh gosh, I gotta catch up on some of your let's see, what do we got here? Harp. Good gosh. Oh, how do you feel after doing a live for hours? As an INFJ myself, I'd be sure. Oh, let me caught back up on some of these. It just went, boy, the comments went quite a bit. Okay. How do I like doing a live for hours? Actually, peace. Sometimes I like them because I'm interacting. I'm connecting with you out there. I just am. I'm feeling like I actually feel I like it. I enjoy these because you're out there, and I mean, we're all here together. And that sometimes, not just am I interacting, you're interacting with each other when you're on these lives, and I see that. So I enjoy them. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so I got that. Okay. As an INFJ myself, I'd be so exhausted. I guess I'm more of a listener, but only for so long. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I guess part of me listen, I have a very introverted side. I spend a lot of time alone. Well, some of the only time I really interact is this is like some of the most talking I ever do all week, when I go on these lives, man. I know you only see me when I'm doing a video or when I'm live. You don't see the behind the scenes. Like we have what the world sees. The world sees us, and this is who we are. And then there's the behind the curtain, okay? And then there's the real us that only us know. And we're totally different than what the world sees. Yeah, so, okay. Harps, good afternoon, Harps. Good to see you there, Harper. And I also use Jethro. I also use all my functions to activate my ES, extroverted sense power, as it senses ES as part of even everything of the weakest. Now, Jethro, you're the one you do the noon chucks, right? You're doing the noon chucks, and are you you're from Iowa, right? Jethro, you're from Iowa, and you walk around without a jacket in the middle of the winter? I don't know, man. Something tells me you said that it invigorates you. I mean, I can't do that for long myself. Okay. Emma, I'm so sad I have to go. Oh, Emma, you got to go. It was good to see you. It was such a pleasure to be with all of you, at least for a moment. I hope to see you again in the future live stream. Well, thank you, Emma, for still out there. Thanks for showing up. Thank you again for all your videos, people in the chat. Okay. Hey, Genesis, Justin. Justin just came in. Genesis. Or Justin, I should say. Tom, I noticed that you wear a vest a lot. I typically wear a long sleeve flannel or a very heavy jacket over my t-shirt. Feels like more comfortable, more complete. I guess that's a thing with some people. Yeah, I mean, I like the vest. I mean, because, they're comfortable. There's no arms like tugging on you. I do have that leather one. You must see that brown leather one I wear. I try to make that be a little bit of a trademark of mine, but I don't want to wear that every single time, I do wear the vest, though. I do like vests because they got pockets in them, I mean, if I'm ever packing heat, I can, it's easy to conceal in one of these, too, I'm only kidding people, But it could be, You just never know what's inside these vest pockets, right? So, vest a lot. Yeah, I do. So that's why I like vest. But hidden, harp. I have a superpower of immediately spotting insects in any building. So you see bugs, huh? Wow, that's something. Very true, Tom. We're talking about the whole, the heightened extroverted sensing when it comes to gathering for our senses, for our intuition. Yeah, we come alive. People, I don't hear that said, but I think that needs to be said sometimes. That's where our superpower comes in. And that's where we become very observant of our senses. Very much so. Okay? Yes, Tom. Yeah. The real Oz types. LOL. Yeah, Tom. You're my escape. Jason. Escape, huh? Oh, my gosh. Well, hey, listen, I'm glad you... I think that means that you just enjoy this. You feel there's a good connection going. All right? That's what it is. And Friday he will be doing a show, Emma. Yeah, it's probably gonna be maybe a little bit later than this, but probably probably a good part of the night or so. You hold me to that, aren't you, Jethro? I said that on the last live. You actually asked, hey, when are you doing another live? I said, hey, it was Friday. Remember I said I might do one in the middle of the week too? And this is the middle of the week one, I said. So I did have that I didn't know exactly when, but this is it. So, yes, Jethro, LOL. There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, sometimes I could have done a whole show on that. Maybe I could do a video on that. See, things just happen. I say, about the fact that we are, like I said, the whole thing with the extroverted sense and how we actually have a heightened sense when it comes to the important thing that's part of our our most dominant function. It comes to life at that point. And then we're very perceptive. Okay, enough said about that. I think I get the point across, right? Yes, LOL. All right, I got caught up with all of the chats over here. So, all right. Yeah, but it looks like some of the regulars are all in here. I see some familiar faces. Now, I know Vamp. Vampflux is from Australia. She'd probably be here. She might show up a little later. Depends. But she's in Australia. If anybody doesn't know, you guys know that. She's from Australia. And she's like, good gosh, it's probably, right now, I'm going to guess it's probably tomorrow or early tomorrow morning. It's already like Thursday morning or something like that. Yeah. You study up on the golden pair yet? Not quite that. Not quite yet. I'm going to have to watch that video. I'll just have to say the golden pair. I haven't got a chance to do that. I'm going to have to put that on my burner, man, because you want me to see that. This must have been a good one. And I'm going to take your word for it. This was a good video. And I'm just having to type in search, golden pair, MBTI golden pair or something. I'm sure it's out there. I'll have to watch that. Now I got to do it now because it's like, yeah, Jason, it's 9:30 in the morning in Australia. I knew that. Okay, that's tomorrow morning, that is. So it's Thursday already there. So, all right. Could read about it too. Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's a article or something, or is it a book or something? Yeah. I think the gym boosts my sense of extroverted sensing and every impossible extroverted sensing because I'm more in tune with my body and muscle memory. Very good. Listen, there's a lot to be said about that. Of course, being that exercise, of course, is cardiovascular. A lot of times, that whole blood flowing and pumping into areas. I mean, you get better sleep. Your brain is actually getting more oxygen to your head, so you think better. You get more. You're releasing certain. What are those? Gosh, what are those things? The ones that kind of fool your body, like the runner's high. Gosh, I can't think of that. But every part of your body is getting extra blood flow. I mean, even your senses, even those capillaries, those minute capillaries in your eyes and your lenses of your eyes, the ears, all the bones and the whole coccygeal function of your ear, or whatever they call that. Everything's getting more blood. I mean, all these fine-tuned organs and senses, yeah, of course. And your nerve endings, your blood vessels, I mean, it's all regulating. I mean, regular exercise is awesome, man. Endorphins, that's it. I knew the word, I just couldn't think of it because we were talking about those the other day, if you remember. Endorphins, you're right, Harp. But I think a lot of that too is just because of the whole thing of, like I said, now you're putting your mind in your body. So body, when your body is in good shape in that way and very healthy, it reflects a lot into your peace of mind, into your well-being as well. Yeah. So I think it's all kind of, I mean, everything has to be kind of worked in its own way, right? Mind, body, and soul, right? Yeah. You get the three. We got, just as there is a trinity of God, as the Catholic faith calls it, have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, right? The Spirit. I mean, we have our own trinity of ourselves, and we have mind, body, and spirit. Yeah. We have our physical body. We got a mind, which is just our thinking, and we got spirit. But that is our connection. But if you notice too, there's a spiritual element to both the mind of God, of who God is, and there's basically God is like the body, would you say the Son? I would actually say more the Son would be the body because he manifested into Christ. So he was the body of God. He literally manifested. He was born as a man, came down. We know that was the story of Jesus. So I'd have to say that the mind would be God. He's the ultimate mind. In fact, yeah. And the body would have to be Christ. And of course the Holy Spirit is the spiritual part that connects to us, that just is the extension of God as himself. So yeah, but we have that spirit, and there's the Holy Spirit, in which we're pretty much conjoined with, or we should be. We should be conjoined with that, and the more we strive for that, the more we mesh with that Holy Spirit and our own spirit. Yeah. See, I get spiritual too, but that's all. Listen, that's all part of the INFJ experience. I mean, we have our own senses, we have our ways of putting things together, but there's got to be a spiritual element to an INFJ. as you know. And it's a strong one. And that's one thing I know that we all attest to, because we have that spiritual side. It's just what we are, you know. John, who are we talking? Oh, John, I eat very hot food for endorphins. Oh, ah, I've done that too. I got into doing that. I mean, for a while there. I mean, not so much now. I still like hot stuff occasionally, like Mexican food, certain like rice dishes, certain spicy dishes. Oh, I love hot stuff, and I do like that. But you're right. It starts releasing endorphins. Is the same thing. It releases those natural painkillers, and those things start to somehow create a certain, like a kind of a euphoria. And that's the addiction to hot stuff. That's why people want hot stuff without them even knowing it, because it's releasing those natural endorphins, and it just makes you want hotter and hotter stuff. And then you build up a tolerance. Then all of a sudden you're able to eat stuff that you couldn't before, and now you got a tolerance for it. Yeah, but that's good. So that's a way to get your endorphins going as well, like hot peppers. Chili peppers, ghost peppers. There's some really potent ones out there too. There's no doubt. Yeah, I've done about 5 months of just being alone, and I have really loved it. There is a difference of being lonely and being alone. It really trained my mind. Deep stuff, Jason, man. Yeah, you're on the path, man. That's what it is. Yeah, you're on the path. You said you'd done about 5 months alone. You mean just were you in a? Now let me ask you this: was this your 5 months? Was this part of your awakening moment where you had nowhere else to go, like I've described, or was this more like just a bunker zone? Like your isolation zone that we pick. But either way, I mean, I think we all go through bouts where we just take as much time alone. We'll do our thing, do our chores, do what we are obligated to do, get a job done, and then you just want nothing more than to be alone. You're not seeking people out. You're not making phone calls. I get it, man. But that's how you find your inner. That's how you find inner peace, though. These solitude moments, you find inner peace. You have to do that on your own. Yeah. Yes, harp. I'm transforming inside my cocoon. Oh, the cocoon thing. Yeah, we talked about that. That was the metaphor for that. The transformation. You're in that chrysalis, the cocoon. Exactly. Right. Me too. For it's been a year and 3 months now. So you've been alone for a year and 3 months, Harp? Yeah, just kind of doing your thing. Yeah. Even though after I, even though after, I mean, I went through my whole awakening thing that I felt like I had, and I got to be honest with you, I went through a lot of stress going through that, and I've only mentioned this a couple times, but it was a little bit after I got done. That was in the year of 2024. It was like through the summer, through like the spring, summer, just a lot of things going through, and I let it be there. But then I finally felt a sense of peace. I felt like things were winding down. Like I was starting to feel better. Now, I don't like to say this too often, but a few weeks later, I had a heart attack. I did. I don't know if that had something to do with the whole things that I was going through, but I think a lot of it had to do with the fact I knew my cholesterol wasn't good. My doctor kept telling me, get on statins, you got to start eating better food, you go on a Mediterranean diet. My doctor was telling me for years I had high cholesterol. And, I'm stubborn. I'm a stubborn guy. I thought, I'm all right. I can keep eating what I want. I didn't really listen to it much. I mean, I did a little bit, but not enough. So finally, one day, I just woke up in the day and I started feeling a pain in my heart, my chest, my left arm. And I remember my mom's voice came back to me. She told me as a kid, when you have a heart attack, you get a pain in your chest and in your left arm. And I had that. I said, oh, am I having a heart attack? My late mom's voice came back to me, like mom was telling me that. She told me as a kid. She had a kind of an intuition that I needed to know this someday. I didn't realize it'd be like 40 plus years later I'd need to know that, but it helped me. It helped me to make a quick decision to call 911. And I did. And so if things went up, I mean, I had to go to the hospital. I spent some days in the hospital, had to change my diet and all that stuff. So how am I feeling now? I'm doing all right. I'm doing great. That was, gosh, that was over a year and a half ago now. That was back in September of 24 when that happened. But I didn't know what else to do. I called an ambulance. I'm like, I kept thinking if I drive myself, I may just, go off the road and then really kill myself without even trying. And I thought, so I kind of was like, what do I do? I mean, I know that, you can die from these. I thought I could die. Like, I'm panicking a little bit. And of course, when you start panicking, you start breathing a little bit. Your heart rate wants to go when you're thinking of this stuff, right? So it's actually making it worse. So I can remember thinking, what do I do? What do I do? And I just says, I'm going to call 911. I'm not going to let this go along because I know it'll be worse. And now, because I'm sure over the course of times, the longer you wait, the worse it is because you're killing your heart. There's certain parts of your heart, the tissue is starting to die because it's being suffocated. That's basically what it is. Those veins that are feeding the heart are being blocked. Yeah. So, but no, I was all right. I called. They asked me, "Do you have any aspirin?" I said, "No, I didn't even have aspirin in the house. I didn't carry it." It's like that's what you're supposed to do. They recommended if I could take about 3 of them and just chew them up, just swallow them as soon as you can. And I guess that's how you prevent the heart attack, and that's how you can stop them. And I didn't have one. So of course, when the ambulance guys got here, first thing they gave me was like about 4 or 5 baby aspirins, and they said chew them, don't just swallow them, chew them up, and then swallow them. I'm like, all right, did, and and then I remember saying, wow, these taste pretty good. These are for babies. They're babies, they tasted like oranges. I remember saying that. Hey, I can see why babies are like these. They were oranges. So they actually tasted pretty good. And I remember that. That was the first time I had those. So now I got to take one every day along with another blood thinner. I've got to watch my salt, which I do. I got to drink more water, but I'm all right, just, but my point is I wasn't sure, but this was a little bit after all that awakening that I say I had, whatever led me there. I was going through months and months of stress. I mean, a lot of heartaches, a lot of stress and heartaches. And I kept thinking maybe that it wasn't the whole part of it. I think physically, yes, I had high cholesterol already, and I had already things established. So I don't think that was the main cause of it. Do I think it contributed? I kept thinking this was making me stronger. This was cleansing me. I kept thinking if I'm getting spiritually more sound, if this is strengthening me, wouldn't it be cleansing me? I thought that way. Really, it's got to be helping me. Then I get a heart attack. I don't know. So that kind of really slapped me upside the head. But funny thing is, though, I got to be honest with people. When I got in the ambulance, and then the ambulance guy says, "Yeah, guy," says, "You are definitely you're having a heart attack." He says, "I just did some tests on you." He says literally, and he says, "Your heart is definitely pissed off about something." He said it just like that, pissed off. Your heart is pissed off. The way he put it in the words. I'm like, yeah, I get that. All right. So I drink nothing but water. Well, come on, you got to drink more than water there, Jason, man. You got to have some kind of sustenance. I'm sure you got to have some kind of maybe salads or something or whatever it is. I mean, hey, man cannot live by bread alone, and he can't live by just water alone either. You know what I mean? Think about that. You got to get a little bit of nourishment in there. Come on, you got to be eating something, Jason. Maybe you drink a lot of water. I'm not saying you don't, but you got to be eating something. Come on, man. Even if it's a small meal a day, you got to do that. So, but no, I mean, I've only told that story a couple times. I didn't really tell any of my family either. I finally told my oldest, one of my brothers. I just kind of kept it quiet. I didn't want to let it get out too much, I didn't tell anybody on anybody else. I try to keep that private, but occasionally I'll tell the story just because, hey, it happened, So it is what it is. So, but yeah. So anyway, so we get looks like we have the regular crew here. Most of us. Look at we got Jason in there. We got Harp. We got Jethro's out there. John is out there, and some others. Some other people out there that are probably just watching and just kind of keeping quiet, which is good. You know, not everybody has to write things down. You know, but that's good, right? But I guess bottom line is, don't get me wrong. I went through every emotion, and it was difficult during these 5 months, but it was worth it. When you reflect back, after it's all said and done, and when you sit from a place of like where you feel peaceful, after all that, you say it was like I said, it was not in vain. Yeah, I say that, right? Your soul searching and suffering through your life. You may think in the moment you're in it, it's painful, and you think it's torturous in a way. Just having your emotions do what it is. As INFJs, we do. We're pulled in all these different directions, and a lot of times it's torturous. It can be, but then you reach a certain state in your life when you look behind and you start retrospecting where you've been, and remember all the bouts you've had and realize those were forging moments. And I've said that these moments were not in vain. Like you said, it's worth it to you. So yeah, I understand that, Jason. It's absolutely worth it because you reach that state of contentment, some kind of a state of just peace. Yeah, and it's worth it. Yeah, because you look at your life and how it might not have been before if you took a different road, and then you say, well, maybe you would have ended up completely different. It would have led you down a different way. You know, occasionally too, right? I'll ask myself, or I'll say to myself, I wonder what it would have been like for me to have been a different personality, like an extroverted one, maybe an extroverted sensing personality, whatever it is. Would I still be alive today? I often wonder because a lot of times, I mean, I've lost a lot of friends. I've lost a couple brothers. I've lost people. And my one brother in particular, he was an extroverted type, very extroverted, sensing. I'd say he was ESFP. I would put him at that. If I was to guess, my brother Jim, yeah, he passed away 36 years ago. I would put him as an ESFP. But I just remember he had a very addictive personality. Like in other words, if he started having trouble with drinking, you know, and things like that. And if he smoked or did drugs. He was very addictive in that way. He had that very strong addictive personality. I think certain extroverted sensing types might have when they're more drawn to being prolongedly addicted to narcotics. Now I can't prove that. I'm not proving that. Now listen, not to say INFJs and introverted intuitives don't do that, but I think there are certain types that are more prone to having a higher addiction, like to substances, to things. And a lot of times they don't retrospect. They use these things to mask what we suffer through. When our spirit will introspect to find, because we have nowhere to go. A lot of these types don't do that. They're extroverted. They're living outside. They're living outside in the worldly. So they're using substances and drinking and alcohol and things to mask the pain that they're going through. So I guess my point is, if I was another type and I was who I was, would I have abused myself to the point where I would have died early, like got lung cancer, or would I have died of, some kind of, cirrhosis or something? I mean, sometimes I ask these questions. I don't know that, but I just wonder if the fact that I am this type personality, that it's preserving me somewhat. I mean, I'm not in perfect shape. I'm not like a specimen right now or nothing like that. Okay, Harp, I'm not a specimen. I should be. I could be, but but I guess bottom line is that's what I'm getting at. I mean, would we have not been around as long as we were? Okay, let's see. Janice, okay, we got Justin here. What do we got here? Let's see. Let's see. We've got. I got chest pains. Okay, so Justin, chest pains from stress. I've been to a doctor multiple times. They tell me to stop worrying and to calm down. LOL. Yeah, I started getting pains too. Did you have your blood works done? How's your cholesterol and how's your like all those the HDHs and LDHs? I know there's a whole bunch. There's good cholesterols and there's the bad ones. You got to watch out for the rising ones. So, but yeah, sometimes that'll stress you out. I get chest pains. I still get them every so often. I get twinges. I definitely have them. Tom, I partied and drank and did loads of drugs in my younger days, but it didn't get me anywhere but trouble. Jason, you're talking about the story of my life too, man. Yeah, I did crazy crazy stuff when I was in my 20s and into my I'd say especially from my mid to late teens and through my 20s. I was very very reckless, and I'm glad I survived you know what I mean. But it sounds like you did the same thing. But you reached a certain point. I bet you woke up. You just, I'm going to take it you don't do this stuff anymore. And you're living a different life now. I mean, I'm guessing you don't, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know that. But hopefully you're not doing that too much anymore. Or moderately. Even if you are, just off and on. Not like every day, you know. But we might have done that early on because our life was so chaotic, and plus we had peer pressure. We grew up in a culture that, when I grew up, I mean, back during the '80s into the '90s, everybody in my town did that stuff. It was common. It was not. It was just what they did. You smoked. Everybody smoked cigarettes. Everybody smoked pot. Everybody had to go. We'd save our money and we'd get somebody to buy our alcohol, beer and stuff, and we'd party up on the rocks. We'd have girlfriends up there. We'd hoot and holler until the cops get called. And it was fun just getting chased by the cops every time. It was part of the whole excitement of doing that. Knowing somehow the cops would show up eventually, tell us all to leave or chase us, and we'd scatter in all different directions. Let's see. So Jethro, yeah, and I as an INFJ, I drink sometimes regularly, but the way I'm built, I've never been addicted to alcohol. My body and mind don't let me get addicted to alcohol, and I just not want to drink at some point. Good point, Jethro. Good point, man. And mushrooms, LSD, coke, weed, name it. I'm Generation X. Oh, Jason. Yeah, I did all that stuff too. But I realized psychedelics, man, they were really. I got to a point. I said, "No way, man." Every time I started doing that stuff, I got bad trips. I started getting bad trips all the time. I says, "No more." And as far as Jethro, as far as you never got addicted to alcohol, I'm going to tell you right now, I never liked alcohol. I always knew that was one thing. I'm not really much a drinker. I like a beer here and there. Don't get me wrong. I like a couple beers at the pub, and I'll get a little buzz on going. But as soon as I feel it, I don't want to go any further. I'm good with that. And I typically don't drink hard booze. The shots of whiskey or, brandy. The hard booze. I don't drink that stuff. I know that gets you kind of knocked out a little more, but yeah, that's just me. But maybe part of being our type is that we do regulate certain things. Maybe not early on in our life, as Jason did too. He was in Generation X. Yeah, we were in the Gen X, and we had the baby boomers. We had the hippie generation just before it. All my brothers grew up in that hippie cult generation, the 60s and the 70s. Yeah, and that was the whole beatniks of the 50s. That was our older inspiration. So yeah, they passed that down to us, right? Yeah. So that's what the Gen Xers were caught in the middle of that. So we were doing all that stuff, man. Whiskey fireworks. Oh yeah, firewater. You too with the whiskey, huh? Yeah. Yeah. I know Gen Xers, it's getting to the point now. We're getting old now. We're getting to be the elders. I mean, I told you before in one of the videos, I'm an old Xer, born in 1965. In fact, one of the oldest. And then I think it goes right up to 1980. There's a 15-year span of that generation. But anybody in that had that unique lifestyle. Yeah, and a lot of it had to do with just everybody was doing something. Everybody was taking something. And yeah, and not only that, we were latchkey kids. We had to let ourselves in every day, make our own dinners at night because our moms were probably out, working overtime, or who knows, maybe they were seeing their boyfriends or whatever they were doing. But we were let in alone, and we were just making our own dinners, watching our shows at night and alone until mom's kind of came in later, and then she was tired from her day, didn't want to she didn't want to talk to you much. At least that's the way it was with me. And then she wanted to unwind from her day. She wanted her peace. And then, of course, Tommy trying to talk to mom was just, she finally had enough. She didn't want to talk to Tom. Yeah. Of course, right? Oh, yeah. So we got here. I notice when I drink, I get hyper aware and it doesn't make me slow. I can read better. I nunchuk when I drink. And for some reason, it doesn't affect me like most. Now, I mean, is this just a little buzz or just like being hammered? I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you're drinking. I mean, some people handle alcohol better than others. I mean, you hear about some of these people that have these very high tolerances for alcohol, and they can just, you hear about people drinking other people under the table. A couple shots, they're passed out. And then you get these other people that they just drink and drink and they get a little buzzed and that's it. Everybody's got a different tolerance for their alcohol. I never had a good tolerance for it. I mean, I knew it wasn't good for me. So that's all. But, okay, so we got Justin. Since we are on the subject of drugs, what is your favorite type of music? Whoa! Hey, how about this? Can you read my... Hey, look at that. There you go. Can you read that? Hey, listen, I'm just saying that's one of them, okay? That's just one of them. I mean, I got quite a few different ones. I like The Who. I like a lot of British bands, the Beatles, AC/DC. Occasionally, I'll listen to AC/DC. Listen, I like anything from the 70s. I mean, I just happen to have a Pink Floyd Wish You Were Here shirt on right now. But, see, now you got me going now, talking music. But I like all sorts of classic rock, definitely. I love the Beatles. Beatles are like phenomenal. I know sometimes younger generations may think they're too tame, they're too soft, they're too, whatever. But they were musically trained in the arts of like classical, and they had a good background wherever they went to their school, or whatever it was, some music college. But they were musically trained, the Beatles. And of course there were other bands that were too. But I always liked the Doors. I know the Doors are kind of rough, but there's an old 60s band. Pretty much all that stuff. But occasionally, believe it or not, I like different stuff. Like I can listen to classic country. I'll listen to country music every so often. Like we're talking classic country, like Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson. I even got into Hank Williams for a spell. I guess that's part of me living here up in New Hampshire too, It's like there's a lot of country like stuff up here in New Hampshire. That's part of my thing, But I mean, but I went through a phase. That was a phase. I don't listen to it all the time, but I went through a phase of that. But I like Systems Down, AC/DC, Jethro, System of a Down. I don't know if I've heard of them before. All those are good. Black Sabbath is my top for me. Black Sabbath. Okay, Justin likes the Black Sabbath. All right. So we all have a certain favorite band, right? Yeah. Yeah, I like the Who sometimes. I like their rock, their concepts. Like I like Quadrophenia by the Who. Yeah. And Tommy the Who. I got into Tommy for a while. Not so much now, but those were like rock operas. And some of their other, I like some of their other like albums, like Who's Next is all right. Who Are You? So, but Black Sabbath, yeah. Occasionally, I like to crank up some like heavy metal if I'm in that mood. If I'm in a certain mood and I want to just get all kind of, you know, get the grunge going. Yeah, I like that stuff sometime, definitely. Hey, every so often I might even pop in Beethoven or like a Mozart. I mean, I actually will steer in that way sometime. Or Bach. Yeah, I do. I steer into classical once in a while. Not too often. Not too often, but I will open that. I will open that door. And it depends on the mood. Depends on where my mind is. And I want to hear some like soothing Bach, like like air. Or Mozart. Mozart has a lot of like uplifting symphonies. He's got like 40 something symphonies, and they're all like real uplifting. You know what I mean? Very like talented as well. Beethoven's got those real fiery ones. They're almost dark. Beethoven's got symphonies that. You know what I like about Beethoven though? Now that we're talking about music, sometimes you can actually tell what his emotion was, how he was. You could tell like his emotion came through his writing, and like the way he was great at like he could take a like you ever heard the Ninth Symphony? There's a second movement. I mean, you ever seen the all right, I don't want to get too much into it. A Clockwork Orange. Remember the kid on the Clockwork Orange? He kept hearing that Beethoven piece and it drove him crazy. Anybody watched that movie? It was molto vivace. It starts off kind of quiet, and then the tone, the tempo rises, and then it explodes, and then it simmers down, and then it gets kind of peaceful, and then it gets angry again, and then it gets peaceful. Then it almost like he regretted getting angry. Then he kind of almost like he was sad he got angry, and it's all in the symphony. These are some of I think that appeals to me because of the fact I feel these emotions. I think the empathy reaches into these emotions. And sometimes I crank that Ninth Symphony by Beethoven, kind of like Alex the Droog did on A Clockwork Orange. If anybody remembers A Clockwork Orange, I don't know if it's a kind of an obscure movie. I think it's a cult classic. But every so often I got to do that, once in a while. Bach is probably my favorite. Systems Down. Jethro, by the way, I don't know who System of the Down is. All right. I've never heard of them, but I'll take your word for it. You like them. I just don't. Maybe they're a newer band or something. All those are good. Black Sabbath. Classic country is good from time to time. Yeah, time to time it is. And another one is Bach is probably my favorite classical composer. Yeah. I like that whole toccata. It's that's that one that's like with the pipe organs. It's like real spooky. Yeah, he wrote that one. Sometimes I hear that. I like to crank that and say like, wow, man, the pipe organs, man. It's just overwhelming, Yeah. But so you get into music. I think a lot of times, I never even knew this, but I think I had such a connection with music and certain ones. I have to have such a wide variety like that because I think it appeals to our emotion. Our empathy is actually enlightened by music. Now, of course, I think we like Black Sabbath. There's certain areas you like something that's angry or dark, and I think that appeals to a certain darkness. I mean, gosh, sometimes we have a dark side. There's kind of like little avenues in our mind that have dark areas. It's like there's these dark little alleys that are there, and every so often you go drifting down that alley. I'm talking mentally. Then there's other ones that are kind of cool. They're peaceful over here. You want the peaceful ones. But every so often, you need to take a stroll down them dark alleys. I don't know how it is, but then you get these music that wants to testify it. Then you want these hard metal, heavy metal musics that testify to these dark alleys, Okay. So what do we got here? So Jason, yes. So Tom, from what you know now, would you change from being an INFJ to be normal? Why? Am I not normal? Are we not normal, man? I wish for once I could just switch it off, just like for a day, just like turn it off from like for a week and say, I want to be this type. I want to be extroverted. Maybe I could be all, like really cool with the women and not have any like anxiety approaching them. I mean, I can get into a chameleon mode and do that, but it's just a lot of work. If you know what I'm sure we all can do that, guys. I'm sure we have our moments. We can do that. We can schmooze, you know. But I think it'd be okay once in a while to check it out. But I think I'd have to be. I don't know anything else other than to be myself, you know. So I think I'd have to say, yeah, no, I think I'm content with being who I am because it would be I wouldn't be me. I'd be somebody different if it wasn't me. Rhett, hey, 13, Rhett is in the house. I get addicted to overcome exercising. I also feel exhilarated when I'm in nature, motorcycle riding, cycling, or hiking. There you go. Sounds like, yeah. Gosh, those are you in your shadows? I mean, like, sometimes that stuff good. A lot of times I think INFJs drift into these shadow zones too, and they need all that real overstimulating stuff. Not to say it's a bad thing, but I mean, you know, that's almost like you're flipping the script a little bit, and you're going for these really outer stimulations. You know, how's everything going, Rhett? You in a good frame of mind? I'm just asking. I have a bad coping mechanism with extroverted sensing. Stress grip to ground me into something. See, I knew something was on your mind, man. I didn't even read that. You know, telling me sounds like you're kind of in a shadow, dude. It sounds like, you know, you're reaching out, man. You're exercising, motorcycle riding, nature motor, and hang gliding. What'd you say? Cycling and hiking. Yeah, you're trying to overcompensate for something. You're really trying to just go into those senses to probably compensate for the confusion of your mind. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad you're staying busy. You have a good life, but be knowing the back of your mind. Sometimes when you overdo that, you get overstimulated. Sometimes it's like you're drifting into like reckless behavior too. It can turn into that. But then you said you have a bad mechanism for extroverted sensing, stress grip. You know, it sounds like a bad coping mechanism. So, sounds like you got something on your mind there a little bit. You're dealing with, you know. So, organ fugue in G minor by Bach. Organ fugue in G minor. Oh, see, you guys know classical. Look at this stuff. Yeah, Jason knows some classical stuff too. Is that part of the same one that Toccata and Fugue was on, or is that a different one? I mean, because he had a few organ, like, that's, you know, he had like church organ stuff too. Jason, I wouldn't love it now. I wouldn't love it now. Oh, to be, you asked me if I wanted to be an INFJ. So not now, you're not digging it, huh? You're kind of tired of it, huh? Yeah. Well, I kind of know no other type right now. I, the, okay, we got here, Justin. We are most normal in some types of way. I do wish at times I could turn it off as well, being an INFJ. Yeah, just flip the switch every so often would be nice, right? Like change a channel. I would like to know you had a channel in your mind. You could, you know, this is where this is your main channel. But every so often you can switch it around to different types. Yeah. I mean, I guess in a way we get the chameleon that comes out every so often. And but that's just that's a performance. That's like an acting thing. That's like it just comes out. It's almost like you step into a role in a sense, you know. But in a way, that's our version of doing that. You know, sometimes people can perceive us or see us as saying, "Yeah, that guy's an extrovert." You know, he's all over the place. You know, it's like no way, he's not an introvert. They don't see the behind the scene. They just see that moment you're you know, you're up there singing a tune in front of 100 people, and everybody's like cheering for you. You know what I mean? They don't see the part. No, Tom, I love being this way. Jason, you do like that. No, I love it. Okay. I think we are most normal in some. I'm gonna say this, Jason. I think it takes a wise INFJ to finally have to accept yourself. And I talk about this on the channel a lot of times, how we have to find our acknowledgement, and we have to accept ourselves. We acknowledge who we are, first of all. We find out, oh my gosh, acknowledge. You are INFJ. And somehow you have to accept it. You can't fight it. Because I think a lot of times through our youth, the reason we went partying, the reason we were escaping for drugs and all that, we were trying to be somebody else. We were escaping. And we saw our peers doing that. So we were joining the crowd. And we didn't want to sit home suffering, weeping or just whatever. We were too young for that. Yeah, we were too young. And what you just said, you like being an INFJ, that's who you are. You've accepted yourself. And once you accept yourself, and then you basically, you found yourself. And then you realize that this is who you are. Yeah, and this is who you have to be. And if you were somebody different, you would be completely different. You might be scattered. You might be 6 feet under. You might have died 10, 15 years ago or something terrible. I'm not saying it did, but you just don't know where your life would have gone if you were somebody different, if you were a different type. You know what I mean? Organ fugue in a short piece and spooky sounding. Okay. Oh, so Bach. So I talked about the Bach, and all of a sudden that sparked your interest over there, Justin, right? Yeah. Like I said, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place with music. I really am. I think a lot of us are. I mean, we've talking about heavy metal, and then all of a sudden, you guys said you got different genres too as well. So that's good. That's awesome. You know. But anyway, Rhett. So Rhett, to get back what you're saying, man. It sounds like yeah. Now you were talking earlier. I remember you were asking questions a little over a week ago, Rhett. If you're still there, you were talking about a relationship you were in. I remember you said your girlfriend wasn't she wasn't like owning up to something she said to you, or she didn't want to apologize or something like that. I mean, those are red flags. I mean, you got to take those as red flags and things. I remember talking about that last couple weeks ago. I'm not sure how your relationship's doing, but sometimes when we're caught up with a girl that's, let's just say, always needing you to keep her excited, you have to spend money on her, and you gotta keep her interested. A lot of times that just gets us to start doing things that are out of character. Yeah, they really do. And a lot of times, I got to tell you the truth. I mean, I was actually going to do a video on how INFJs, how we have hard times in relationships, especially men. I was actually going to do an idea of focusing mainly on men in relationships, and how when we get involved with women and how it affects us. I mean, I can talk a little bit about that right here with you guys. Okay. I mean, I think a lot of times is. I mean, as much as we want that soulmate, we crave a woman. We crave a soulmate just because we're men. We're humans. And you want that love. You crave that, like everybody would. But also we have that sensitive part of our soul. We have that sensitivity, and also we have that. We also have that alone part of us. So we crave that connection. We crave it, but we also have that need for our solitude. So what do we do? And especially if you're not aware of this, you get involved in a relationship, and I think so many times we get involved with a girl and we overlook so much about her. We try to overshadow, her characters. I mean, I think we're perceptive. I think we are able to see certain things. We can see beyond. We look at the little gaslighting. Maybe she's telling little white lies. She's testing you. Well, women do this to us. Women tend to test us. They'll start talking about other men, and they just want to see what you do to react. They'll see those, is he going to get jealous? How much does he like me? Is he going to get mad when I mention another guy? If I talk about, you know what I mean? Well, what's he going to do? Is he going to flip out? Is he going to say nothing? They little test, and they're constantly doing that. But deep down, I think we see that. And depending on who you are, what you're willing to tolerate for your love, sometimes early on. Now I've done this in my past, is where you kind of let little things go like that. You just, for the sake of the fact that you have somebody, you're getting intimate with her. You know what I mean? You got a little thing going, even though she's taking away your peace with these little mind games. But as an INFJ, this starts draining us. These things, we start thinking about these things in our head. We start overthinking as we do. Maybe after it's all said and done, you start overthinking these little tests and these little mind games that are going on, and you start thinking about them. It starts draining you. And so either you address them and say something and know that it's just going to be met with, okay, you're just insecure, or you're just you're reading too much into it. You're trying to control me. It's always your fault, whatever it might be. Now, not to say some women are going to probably be fine with that, but a good majority is we might be involved in these women that never are accountable. Okay, but I mean, I think bottom line is we end up as INFJ men, it drains us, and I've said this before that typical social interaction with just everybody is draining enough. You know, we have a certain shelf life. Go to a party, you can only be there an hour, maybe an hour and a half. You're done. You got to go home. You're in a relationship, and you take it's like compounding your stress level. And I've noticed that it's zapping my energy. It's almost depleting me. I feel like over the course of like a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two, I feel like it's just, you know, like I'm just being depleted all the time, and I can never recapture it. I can't get my energy back. It's like it's just gone. And then at this point here, that's when we start saying, okay, now you feel like a shell of a man. You feel like you're being, you know, all this is starting to catch up. You might start getting a little more snappy, a little more aggressive, a little more outspoken, a little angry. Things might start affecting you because you're shadowing now. You start getting into your resentments because you're starting to the overthinking of the mind games is going to start playing on you. Then you're going to start getting irritable about, you know, certain things she says. And see what I mean? There's got to be repercussions come back in that way. And I think, but ultimately, again, I'm speaking from my own experience. This is me talking. I think eventually it all starts being overwhelming, overpowering, and not even worth it anymore. So you start drifting away more. You don't call her a couple of days. Maybe you know when you typically might have made a phone call. You don't call her anymore, and then you spend like 3 days go by, and then she starts calling you, wanting to know why you're not coming over, why I don't call her, or maybe you don't answer the phone. See, so I guess there's a lot of things that start happening in that. Bottom line is, you drift apart. I did. You know, I just find like, over the course of time, it's so painful. It hurts so much. These relationships, they're so taxing on our soul, on our character as we are, and it just kind of depletes us to where we're forced to have to find ourselves again. And then usually after that relationship, it's to the bunker. Now, I'm talking the story of my life. I can't speak for all you guys. Maybe because we're similar, we have this same personality type, we're rare. And when an INFJ man gets involved in a relationship, depending on the man, this is what happens to us. And this is why it's so tough to stay in a relationship and maintain them. And then what happens is you see the pattern. Sometimes you say, oh, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get involved, all this, just to have to leave it in a few months. Yeah, you know? Well, but that's what happened with me, basically. Okay, let me see. I would love to know now. Okay, let's see. What did I do? Okay. I advise every INFJ to go through and accept their shadow. Yes. When you come out of the other end, it's amazing. For me, anyways. Yes. Talking about integrating with the shadow, I believe that's what Carl Jung said. You have to almost integrate with it. Yeah. Okay, become whole. That's the key. We are our own, and we got here, Jason. We are our own psychologists. It's pretty incredible. People are trash anyway. Hello there, somebody came in. Sky Cloud Silence. There is a new name out there. Hello, Sky Cloud. I want to say hello and welcome to the program. That is a brand new name. Just enjoy being superior. Oh. People are trash anyway. Just enjoy being superior. Now, what do you mean by that? Do you enjoy being superior, or are you saying that you think I am? What do you mean? I just don't know what you mean by that. I'm I'm not sure what that means. Now, who are you talking about there, Sky? That wasn't a helping. That wasn't a helper suitable for him. That's my life. That wasn't a helper suitable for him. That's my life. Okay? It's the only option for us. What is the only option? Being superior? I mean, I don't know what you mean by that. I'm not sure. I'm still. You got to tell me a little bit more, Sky. What? How you? Where are you? Are you from the U.S.? Are you from this? The good old U.S. of A. I mean, I don't know who is. I mean, we're all from different parts of the world here. We could be. Okay, we got here. Nobody is on our level. We are alone. Yes, I'll admit that. Yes, the U.S. of A. Okay, Sky, good. Good. Well, like I said, my name's Tom. You were, like I said, good to see you, but have a conversation here. And also, Rhett, you got one. I have been going to therapy and taking ADHD medication to deal with my inattentiveness. I'm also struggling with being on workers' compensation since I've been injured my left knee and it's put me behind. See, Red, I told you, man. From you telling me you were overdoing it on your motorcycles and stuff, you're in a kind of a confusing state right now. Now you're saying you're on ADHD medication, man. That stuff's bad for you, man. That stuff's that is altering your brain chemistry. And if you are a INFJ on top of that, you're going down a bad path. You know. Now I know sometimes doctors prescribe this, and you think these experts that we have, these people that are an authority figure, say you need to be an ADHD. They calm you down, but it's not. It's not a good place to go, man. You shouldn't be putting chemicals in there. This is my own. Listen, this is my own assessment. Hopefully, you can find a way to be strong enough mentally to get out of that, man. Because yeah, that's one of the things you're trying to. You're on ADHD, which is attention deficit, but it sounds to me like you're out there driving around reckless on motorcycles. Now, did you hurt yourself on your motorcycle and all your reckless things? That's what's going to happen. You're going to get hurt. I could tell you were doing reckless stuff, man, from your first comment. Yeah. Guy, you got to get off the ADHD. I hope you got to wean off that. You got to get off that stuff, man. You got to face your problems head on. I mean, these drugs are screwing with your brain. You're just taking dopamines and you're putting restrictors in there, and you're making your neurons not fire, or restricting neurons to fire a different way. You kind of doping yourself up, and it's gonna end up you're putting chemicals in there, and it's gonna have a long-term effect in years to come when you have no mind left. Yeah, Guy, it's not good. Please, for my sake, Red, please take care of yourself, man. Get off that stuff. Wean off that, all right? And you got to be strong and you got to calm yourself down, man. I'm a strong advocate. I try not to do drugs. I mean, especially psych drugs. I refuse them. In fact, I don't even like the painkiller, like oxycodone and oxycontin. I had a couple of procedures done. I says I'm not taking that. I don't want my brain spaced out. Okay, we got Genesis. Yes, USA. We are not superior, LOL. We are on different levels of thought. Yes. Okay. We are not superior. We are just thinking different. Okay, I wasn't agreeing with that. I was just trying to hear I wanted to hear exactly what that was all about. Okay? I was just trying to, Sky, speak for yourself. Hey, speak for yourself there, Genesis. He told you. Okay. So, Sky, are you superior? Do you think you're better than everybody? I mean, do you think you're better than other people around you? Do you have a high opinion of yourself, Sky? I'm just asking, man. When you say sky's in the cloud, I mean, do you feel like you're in the sky looking down on other people? I mean, I'm just asking, man. Do you really feel superior? Now, that's an ego. You got a strong ego, don't you? Yeah, I mean, a lot of times that's the forbidden fruit right there. Adam and Eve were basically told, if you eat of this fruit, you shall never die. Your eyes will be open. You will see in that of the eyes of God. Yeah, that was the original sin, to feel as though you were like putting yourself into a godlike situation. We're supposed to be humble. We're not God. We aren't. We can have the mind of God. We can actually have a relationship with God. He will reveal His creation, His majesty to us in His Spirit. But we are not God. We are not superior. Okay? Man has got to know his own limitations. Dirty Harry. There you go. INFJs are like narcissists, but none of evil. Yeah, it's true. Okay, speak for yourself. At least I am. Okay. Well, hey, well, listen, Sky, I want to tell you something. Hey, I'll bet you don't starve very often, right? I guarantee you don't go hungry because you're so full of yourself, huh? How do you like that? I couldn't help myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I'm only kidding, Yeah. Well, anyway, So, you know, heads in the clouds then, huh? LOL. Hey, at least you found that funny though, anyway, right? That's all ego. The ego is the devil. Jason. Yeah. I'm basically saying that. That was the ego. That was pride. That was the whole foundation of original sin. Was that we ate of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, and the serpent gaslit Eve into saying, your eyes will be open, your eyes will see of that of a god, and you will actually be like more powerful than God. Basically, that was the temptation, and they did eat of the tree, and Adam was tempted by Eve, and he did eat. Didn't put up much of a fight, did he? Adam just went along with it. And then they kind of knocked our whole civilization, our whole human nature into the garbage because of ego, right? The ego is dark to me. John Schotter. Hey, okay, John, yes. Well, yeah, we have to understand that our pride, having ego is, you see a lot of times too, I mean, some of these occults, a lot of these occults try to tell you that you have to embrace that pride, that ego. Yeah, a lot of these tell you that, because, like, they go against anything that is godly, and they tell you to embrace the. Are you in an occult by any chance, Sky? Do you belong to a? Are you an INFJ? Are you a dark INFJ? Just curious. Okay, so we got having no ego is actually having a worse ego. Having no ego is actually having a worse ego. Can anybody chime in on that? Does that make sense? How do you interpret that? That's logic for you. I don't know. You need shadow work. Okay, my dark side. Okay, John, my dark side is evil. Yeah, well, it is. That's why it's called a dark side. Yeah. Healthy ego is healthy. No ego is sick. Okay. Okay, so healthy ego is healthy. So a healthy ego is what? Having like, now, are you saying it to the point where, you just have like a good self-esteem in yourself? I mean, what is it? Sigmund Freud said there was ego, super ego, and the id. And I know it's quoting Sigmund Freud. Ego was the, basically, it was just the pride. It was that part of you that felt like you were just more powerful and more uplifted than others. But he said it had to be balanced with the super ego. Now, I'm only quoting Freud because I'm going to play devil's advocate. Freud said the super ego was actually part of that was supposed to prevent you from exceeding a certain limit with your ego. Okay? Yeah. Like, in other words, if you felt it would stroke your ego to murder somebody, if that would make your ego more powerful, the super ego had to put a roadblock in and say that was a kind of a conscience. That was a way of saying, no, you shouldn't do that. That's a border you cannot cross. In other words, like it was like in a way of his way of saying that was like your conscience. And then I know the id was the Oh, I still can't remember exactly how to explain the id here, but I know though basically that's what we're talking about. But no, having ego is having no integrity. Oh, okay. Okay, so you're just kind of taking it from one extreme to another. I think I think the ego is what we're talking about. Is the dark ego, the aggrandizement of oneself to think that they are higher and like better than others. Okay, like you said earlier on, you said something about being superior. Now, I mean, some people think that way. They have a superior mentality. They think they are better than others. They're called narcissists, especially too. But but bottom line is, I mean, gosh, man, I mean, we are still human beings, and for some reason, the ego gets a little clouded. It gets a little overinflated. An overindulged ego is not healthy. Okay, I mean, what we're trying to say is having no ego at all is being humble to an extent. To an extent, it's understanding that you have a limit to your function, but not to not to put yourself on any higher plane than anybody else. Like you don't deserve anything greater than anybody, because that's not as healthy either. But what if you actually are better? Well, better who? In your own mind? I mean, if it's a delusion that you're better, is that truly being better? Are you really better, or are you delusional better? Because that's another thing too, where your mind can tell you things, your mind can fabricate things in your mind that you are better, but it's just a delusion. Yeah, and that's what delusions of grandeur are. Yeah, and those are spoken of too, as far as psychology, is just thinking that people are better and greater than others, thinking that they're more whatever higher on planes, but that's all it is. They're just delusional. So I'd have to say no. No, I mean that's what that is. Groveling like worms is not healthy. Okay, okay, yes, and also trolls, groveling, like spewing like trolls isn't healthy either. Either I don't know, man. Sounds like you're going down the troll path. Okay, that's what it feels like to me, Sky. I really hope. I don't know if you really believe in that. I don't. I think you're just full of it. I think you're saying stuff to get me going. You don't believe anything, and if you do, then you're delusional. If you do, but anyway, John, narcissists have a big ego. Absolutely, absolutely, they do. Uh, Damn. Hey, I don't believe you. I don't believe you're a troll. That's what I'm gonna just say that, Sky. Anybody want to chime in on that? Any of my the chat want to chime in? Listen, Jason. Listen, I don't mean any disrespect. All right, you're welcome here. I'm not saying you're not, but please, I mean, you got to understand. I mean, I just don't believe you. All right, I'll take. I'll take being called delusional par for my course. Of course, because you're delusional. Yeah, that's what delusional people have to do in order to accept what they are. They can never think that anybody else is right. They can always be wrong, but either that or I just I just don't believe anything. Don't believe her. I'm not. I'm not. Oh, is that a she? I didn't even know. I didn't know if it was a he or she. Oh, you're old. Oh, okay. All right. You sound like you're a modern woman. Good gosh. Do you have a boyfriend or a husband? God, I pity him if you do. If you're married, I pity your poor man you're with, whoever you're with. Please don't be like that. But you are not INFJ. Oh, see, you are a troll. Okay. All right. Well, hey, I'm so glad you were able to tell me that. Please tell me what I am so I could finally just be relieved that I'm not. Come on. Can you tell me what it is exactly I am? So now you're going to self-analyze me there. Well, thanks a lot. Oh, just because I'm basically telling you I don't believe you. So now all of a sudden I'm not an INFJ. Okay. 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 Have a deeper insight into life. Well, let me tell you, you haven't been here very long, have you? You haven't seen a lot of my material, I guess. All right? That's all I can say. But anyway, It was nice talking to you. You can keep trolling if you want, but Jason, if you're a real NFJ, would you not act like this, Sky? If you're a real, I don't know if didn't declare if that was or not. Genesis, Sky, how old are you? Okay, they want to know. They want to talk to you a little bit. Okay, the chat wants to know some things. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's usually what happens. Usually when when you start that's like one of those they think that's a sucker punch. I don't know why that is. I've been noticing that when people like think, you're doing an INFJ thing, and then they don't like what you say. They get a little bit butthurt about what you say, and then all of a sudden they think they're going to do a kidney punch on you and say, "You're not a real INFJ." It's like that's supposed to be an uppercut. It's supposed to be. I look at it as like, okay, sounds like you're desperate. You're desperate to just throw a little bit of a wrench in there, get me all, oh no, I'm not an INFJ. Really? Okay. I don't know. Gen X, okay. INFJ wouldn't be attacking people. Uh, oh, Tom, she is winding you up. I'm just having a little fun here, actually. You know, I'm actually trying to. I just see as she's kind of trolling a little bit. Is what it was. If you were an INFJ, you wouldn't perceive it as an attempted attack. Oh, okay, all right. So now all of a sudden you're a stereotype. You wouldn't see it that way. Oh, okay, all right. So you're an expert on that. So how should tell us? I mean, how are we supposed to act on that anyway? Okay, Sky, if you're a Gen Xer, you busted it if you believe this stuff. LOL. Yeah, I don't think she's a Gen Xer. She's much younger than that. She's like she's not even that. She's probably more of a millennial type. She's one of these new age modern types that is just very entitled. Very, I don't know. Just did you go to college? Something tells me you went to college. You probably had one of those. You know, maybe you went to a woman's study or something like that. Okay, we know what C is. Yep. Okay. All right. Oh, see, it always gets interesting, doesn't it? It does get a little bit interesting. You never know where we're gonna go. Oh, okay. I studied classical violin performances. Oh, that's nice. You play a violin, huh? Okay, beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Well, okay. But hey, we got 13 watching now. All right. So anyway, we are. How long have I been doing this? Hey, look at that. 111 minutes have gone by. All right. All right. Got some stuff on the channel. Okay. Good. All right. But anyway, I can talk a little bit about. I guess I came up with a little bit about talking about pride and how I think. That steered me into a thing. I mean, even these guys agree that the ego and pride is actually, it's actually kind of a, like I said, it's actually basically, you're acknowledging somehow that you're almost going against the grain in a way. Like I said, I bet you she's into a cult or something like that too. Occultists tell you to they believe in indulging in things like that. Probably likes they tell you just to do everything opposite. I mean, they actually have festivals where they just do carnal, fleshly things. Perverted things in a way of worship. In a way, they do deep, dark things. Some of these occultists. Just to proclaim it, and then they all want to be prideful and everything. They talk like that, and I'm not saying they are, but that's where that stuff comes from. It's an all-out, just an attack on that, But anyway, bottom line is, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So, anyway, well, people, it's good to see you out there. Anyway, for who we have out here, and I'm going to try to move on a little bit past here. But so, I guess bottom line is, people, as far as the channel's going, I'm going to talk about the channel a little bit, you know. What are we up to for subscribers? As of now, 869, okay? And I noticed that it does. Now, I'm climbing up toward 900 now, people. Now, let's see where we are exactly. I want to just kind of back up a little bit here. I'm just going to go off this for a second. And hey, two more came in. I just had to update it. 871. That must have been because of today's broadcast. I hope we had some new subscribers come on here. You know, that's awesome. So there you go. Where are we? Oh yeah, I got to go back to my live here. I just had to go out of the live for just a second. There we go. Okay, back to what we're doing here. But yeah, but bottom line is, gosh, like I said, the channel's been doing this for gosh, it's going on almost 9 months now. I started doing this this program back in gosh, I think it was June of 2025. And I started my first broadcast, and well, it carried over to next year. So it's going on to almost 9 months. And I tell you though, it's been a good ride. It's been a very good ride so far with the 9 months I've been here doing this. But one thing I got to tell you though is just is the amazing diversity that I get here. You know, so I just get a lot of different people that I get to interact with. And I got to tell you, it is much of a learning experience. I mean, just interacting with different people, it helps to open your eyes to some of the diversity of the world. It really does. It just helps you to see all different things. All right, that's all. But that's been part of the ride that it is. Definitely has. So. Oh yeah, no, I know that. I get that, you know. I get that. So no, but anyway, no. I just want to say I'm so glad that everybody comes in here and is finding some kind of something good on the channel. I do notice that the support's going up, and I see a lot of the. I see in a lot of ways. I see a lot of like subscribership, and of course, like even some of the lives. You know, that more people are coming in and hanging around a little bit too. I mean, yeah, it goes up and down, but that's a good thing, you know. So, but yeah, but anyway, that's where the state of the channel is. And like I said, I mean, everybody here, and I told you this before. I just like seeing the regulars come in and having the regulars talk a lot too. You know what I mean? So definitely. So okay, we still get the. All right. Oh, okay. Oh, somebody needs a little bit of attention. Hey, good point. Yeah, I know that too. Yeah, that's what it is. An ego always needs to be stroked. That's another thing. So we usually the one crying the loudest and yelling the loudest is actually the one most insecure. Did you know that too? The one just saying, I'm better, I'm this, I'm so high, I'm up here, is actually the one that is the most insecure. It's kind of reverse psychology. I don't know if you knew that. You know, he who brags the most has the least. Oh yeah, hey, put that on a fortune cookie for you. Hey, Confucius must have said something like that. Hey, if it wasn't Confucius who said that, Tom Omega said that, okay? Let me tell you that, okay? There you go, all right? Hey, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? That's an old saying too, right? Yeah, but, oh yeah, all right. So anyway, hey, who wants to decipher? Who wants to decipher? If what personality type am I really? What do you think? Anybody guess? What do you think? I'm not an INFJ. I'm obviously somebody say I'm not, but what am I? Look at that. I'm extroverted. Maybe I'm an E. I'm intuitive. I'm kind of intuitive a little bit. Yeah. Okay. I'm a thinker, but I'm also a feeler. I don't know, man. I could be either one of those. I think I'm more of a thinker, though. I do a lot of thinking, you know. And a lot of times, gosh, I mean, but I do too much planning in the future, though, too. I don't know what it is. All right. So, all right. Yes, you're an ESFP. Oh, because I just told you that. Well, I kind of gave you the answer, didn't I, huh? Shaking my head at Sky. Yeah, it seems to me, I mean, see, what I think it is, you're probably hating men. Yeah, I think it is too. I think you got to. I'm sure you're like a typical. Some like a lot of women now. There seems to be a resentment for a man nowadays. They see a strong, assertive, a good man, and you're trying to just squelch that. Take away the peace. Yeah, you're just trying to come in here and take the peace away from, men having a good time here. I mean, not all men. There's women here. There's some respectable ladies out there. That's what you're doing. But you can't take away the peace. But if you want to stick around, we can laugh at you, though. Sky. I mean, we're getting a good laugh over here. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know. Too squeamish, huh? Hey, yeah, right. I'm squeamish too, huh? Boy, you're very insultive, aren't you, huh? Yeah, okay. I don't know. All right. All right. She's a troll. Hey, we have a troll in the house. There you go. All right. But actually feel sorry for her, huh? Do you? Hey, I mean, I think sometimes, people that are actually lost are thinking they're the most found. When they start spewing off them and how, I don't want to talk about that no more. All right. So what do we got, Jason? I have a question for all INFJs. Do you fear death or not existing anymore? Oh, hey, that's a good one, Jethro. Do I feel death or non-existence? Ooh, well, that's a deep question, Jethro. I'd say that death is. Do I fear death? I mean, the older I get, the less I fear it. I mean, the more I almost feel like I don't fear it as much, but somehow I know that if there is an afterlife, and we're told there's an afterlife. I mean, we go somewhere after we die, and we have an afterlife. But yeah, I'd say that I mean, not existing would be all right. Just like, because the way I think of it, before we were born, we were dead. I mean, we weren't born yet. We were technically, but we still didn't exist. And we were just the same as like where we end up after we've lived a life. So we end up dead after all that anyway, right? So, I mean, I would hope to think that there's an afterlife where we go into a state of like heaven or whatever. I mean, whether or not there's reincarnation or anything like that, I mean, that's up to debate as well, whether or not we do go there. But I don't know. Anybody else kind of like that idea as well? I think sometimes the older I get, the less afraid I am, because not only that, the older I get, I see the sun setting in a way too. Because you get older, you start realizing that your life is you don't have a whole lot of time left. You realize, okay, what do you got? 10, 15 years, 20 maybe. Yeah, you just start seeing that gap for your lifespan narrow down. So these things start creeping up on you. But hopefully, I mean, wherever I go, I just hope I don't end up in a worse place than where I've already been. As far as like, I hope that the whatever we've gone through the course of our life and our mind is just finally pays off, and we go to a better place. You know what I mean? That's all. Okay, what else do we got here? Okay. Okay, I disappear for a bit because I just work. I married a narcissist. I can spot them. John, okay. Jethro, no, I don't fear. I just don't want to be it to be painful. Want it to be painful. You mean the actual? Yeah, I pray for a nice death where I just kind of don't wake up. Like, I know what you mean. You don't want to have a painful death, like a tragic death. Maybe, yeah, you just die in your sleep. That's the best way you could plan. I mean, if that's what you're meaning, right? I married a narcissist so I can spot them. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Jethro, not to fear it. I just don't want to be painful. Okay, and we got malignant narcissist. Okay, yeah. Hey, put that in the past. That was just a troll. If that's what you're getting by, all right. If you're talking about, yeah, or you're talking about you had a malignant narcissist you were married to. Why didn't you see these signs before you got married? Because she probably had a really good way of masking it. Really, because that's what they do. They know how to mask it until they get you where they want you, right? And then the real them comes out. That's what it is. That's what narcissists do. Yeah, they stoop to conquer. That's what it is. Have you ever heard of that? That's a psychological term. I don't know if anybody said that, but a lot of times narcissists do that, and a lot of times, you know, a lot of times women do that to men. See, they're masters at psychology in a lot of ways. Now, I'm not cutting women down, but a lot of times, yeah, they stoop to conquer. Like they'll put a man on a pedestal, talk about how, strong he is, and how much he's this and that, and how good, he makes her feel, and then, and if you start biting on that bait, then eventually she changes because she kind of gets you where you want to. And narcissists act in the same way. They stoop to conquer. They put you on a pedestal. In fact, I had a video called I actually put a video on a psychology video back about 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, called the trap. Oh, I can't even think of it. I had a couple of psychology videos, and I talk about that, the stooping to conquer. It's basically like, like you can see it in a large scale when actually governments will do this. They'll put a certain, like, like a figure on head, like Hitler did this in a way. I mean, Hitler actually seduced the masses in a ways. He used to come up with, he had a way of seducing with his dark side. But he also, once he was invited in and he started, he became tyrannical in a way. He changed in a sense. And a lot of times you see these leaders do that. They appease the people with like words that they want to hear. They'll blame others, and they'll talk about all where they are in their life, and they will start to basically twist the truth in a sense. And then they start just kind of infiltrating the psychology of the mind by just because you stoop, because you bit it, you believed what they were telling you basically, and then they rose to prominence after you were basically under their subjection. And so a lot of times we got to watch out for that. All right, yeah, we just do. I mean, these are the subtle snakes in the grass narcissists that just kind of hide in the woodwork until you're in a vulnerable state, and they get you where you want. Yeah. 23 years, huh? Okay. I woke up now 56. Where did time go? We do exist, then we don't. So we're not awoke. We're not awake of knowing death that comes in. That's not existence. Boy, Jethro, if you guys are getting deep, talking about like where we go, where does the soul go? Because you guys ponder this stuff. Yeah, how many times have we pondered how deep the soul goes? Where does it go when this body crashes? Basically, when our body ceases to exist and our consciousness is gone. Bottom line is, I think a lot of times we're supposed to reach a certain level of inner consciousness that's basically separate from our body. Even Buddha talked about this, finding a certain level of grace and consciousness where you were still technically in your body, but you were almost like in the existential, I can't remember what word to put it into. Almost like you're in the state of death, and you're almost like your mind is already in the afterlife while you're still in your body. And this is a state of grace, and that was supposed to be the kingdom of heaven. That was part of like beyond an awakening. This is like part of like where these monks are striving to go. And then when their body finally fails, they're already there. It's like they're already in their afterlife phase where they're finding that grace before they die. I think that's kind of what you guys are talking about, stoop to conquer. That's an interesting concept. Okay. Well, thank you. Well, do you, oh wait, okay. 23 years. So you were married for 23 years, were you, John? Yeah, 23 years to a narcissist then, huh? Okay. Okay, man, there's some deep stuff here. Always talking about where does the soul go then? Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me check out here. What do we got going on here? Wow, 23 years. I don't believe in the afterlife. I think the afterlife is child after death. Okay. Oh, Vamp. Hey, Vamp Fox came in. Vamp, how are you? I figured, hey, that we're all here. The Breakfast Club is at the table now, huh? Dave Vamp. All right, that's good to see you there. Hey, we got a lot of regulars in here today. Yeah, this is like the regular crew going on here. This is awesome, you know? Yeah. All right. Okay. Genesis. I have a book called The Soul After Death by Father Sephin Rose. I've read some. It's very interesting. Okay. Good day, Vampy. Good day. Oh, you're putting that Aus accent in there, right? Yeah. Hey, can you people excuse me? I got to close my blinds. It's getting a little dark out in my window here. Eastern time zone, as you can see. I bet you've probably been watching the purple hue outside my door. Oh, by the way, it was actually like it was quite warm today, man. It was a lot of snow was melting today. Little glimpses of springtime. Yeah, hold on a second, people. All right, let me just do this here. There we go. I don't need the. I don't want the neighbors looking in here, seeing me, doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? They don't need to know that stuff. So, all right. All right. Yes. Hey, we got a good chat going on today now, don't we, huh? Oh, look at that. All the message was somebody retracted all their messages. Oh, what does that mean? What happens? Oh, I see. Everything. Oh, okay. Oh, what's the matter? Do you need some attention, Sky? I'm sorry. Why did you retract all your messages? Do you not want any evidence of what you said? Either that or you're realizing how foolish your comments were and you just had to take them out of there, so there was no evidence. I can only imagine that's what I would do. Wow, I'm impressed. Sky, I'm backing up. You retracted all your messages. Oh my gosh. Well, after what you said, I'd be embarrassed too. So, hey, probably a good feel, all right? But anyway, yes, it's good to see everybody showing up, though. Definitely, you know. Too much. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, you're just going to retract these messages too, so I'm just not going to bother, you know. All right, but yeah, it's good to see you, Vamp, though. So, Vamp, what time is it, actually? Oh, well, thank you, thank you. Hey, I've been called much worse by much better. I got to tell you that. Okay, you got to do better than that. Is it just disgusting? Maybe you can call me like an oozing pile of dog poo. Or yeah, I mean that would be, like the three. I remember a third grader which was trying to think of the worst thing they could call me. I think that's what they came up with. Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't wait for some lunch arrive. I'm gonna have Jamaican food. Hey Harp, Jamaican food, huh? Hey, what kind of food is Jamaican food, man? I'm just curious. Like, what do you have for that anyway? I was wrong about the time in Australia, oh, you were wrong about the time. Oh, I know you're like hours ahead of time, aren't you? Oh, Jason. Hey, there are 3 different time zones, depending on there's almost like the U.S. There's 4 time zones in the U.S. There's Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific, and then of course Hawaii's got its own time zone it's in too. So there's all these different ones in there, right? So, okay. So anyway, Jamaican food then, huh? Yeah. Yeah, there's three in Australia. Yeah, I knew that. I was actually, because I was looking at the world time, and of course, because you're from Australia, Vamp, I couldn't, I was looking at different countries and trying to get the time zones where most of you are from, and I did see the three different time zones. But I was looking for that place in Queensland, and I remember you told me the town to look up, but Queensland's got there's a lot of towns that are like, they must be Aborigine or something, like the pronunciations of the town. That's the only way to describe them. Like they must be. Yeah, like just Aborigine or like here in the United States, we have a lot of Native American things named in like rivers and states. Like a lot of the states are named after like tribes and of indigenous people. Indians, whatever you want to call them. You can't call them Indians anymore. But yeah, but I've noticed a lot of towns were like that had those Aboriginal names. I says, yeah, that's probably, it figures. It figures because you're going to keep a lot of those different ones there. Okay. Now, what do we got here? Jamaican food, 904. I was wrong. I was wrong about the time in Australia. Okay, that's fine. Yes, there were three in Australia. There is three in Australia. Okay, the time zones. What I used to roast people, something I tell them, you look like Beetlejuice. Oh gosh, Beetlejuice. Today I'm having pina pasta with jerk chicken and plantanos. I forget what that's called in English. Oh, plantains. Oh yeah, that's plantains. What is it? Oh, plantains. They're like those plantanos. They just call them plantains. We just dropped the O's. Plantains are like those bananas. They're not quite bananas. They're like, you gotta fry them. You can't just eat those plantains. You gotta fry them differently. But yeah, we just dropped the O. So we're just plantain. You call them plantanos. That's probably a Portuguese thing too. That's what they call them in Brazil, plantanos. Yeah, so that's all. Nice. Sounds good. Yeah, no, that does sound pretty good. That sounds really good over there. It does sound nice, hidden. Yes, I'd say so. Yeah, definitely. So now you're making me hungry. I'm like, yeah, I just had dinner before I started this, But okay, so all this small talk, people are going away. Hey, let's bring them back. Let's bring them back here. Yeah, hidden. That sounds tasty. All right. Yeah, I made a really cool like casserole last night that I've been eating. It's got like rice and meat and peppers, zucchini. I just threw together a recipe, and I had to make sure it was like something without a lot of salt in it. Yeah. Just basically bananas. Yeah, plantains. Genesis. Justin, you're saying, oh, yes, bananas. Hidden. That sound. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, bananas. That's plantains. It's a type of banana. Is what we were talking about. It's just a different type. Is what that is. So, all right. Well, it's good to see everybody's back in here, though. Huh? Talking about dinners and stuff like that. What time is it, by the way? Oh, it is 6:09. Oh, people. Hey, did I show you my new computer? I showed you yesterday, right? I think. Tom, I felt your anxiety. What anxiety? Oh, somebody with empathy. Did you feel anxiety? You felt the empathy? Anxiety from what? Okay, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, just, yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. She retracted everything she put down. She took back everything. Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. I was having fun over there, when Sky was being a weirdo. Yeah, it was. I kept thinking like, yeah, I could tell I was being kind of trolled. I was trying to do my best to laugh it off. It was actually good. I was actually like just trying to think how funny it was. Like I felt like just being trolled a little bit. That's all. I love the variety of things I can find here in North America. Yeah, yeah. No, that's. I don't know. Now, Vamp? Did you catch any of that? That last we had. I believe she's gone by now. You know. Well, well, you heard what I said. She said something about me being disgusting. I said, "Oh, come on." You know. I heard a third grader call me a big steaming pile of poop or poo or something. I says that's better than what she said. Yeah, it was basically childish, whatever it was. It was a childish insult, you know. Tom, we connected there, LOL. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you all heard that, you know. uh, like I said, I mean, I'm trying to just kind of move past that a little bit. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, sometimes you get like you're gonna get a troll every so. But you know, you got to think of this though. You know, you got to remember too. You got to have people come into your clique every so often and give you that hard time. You can't say you don't want anybody doing that. You can't say, "Oh, just get rid of them, just delete them." You gotta have a way of sharpening your sword in a way. You gotta know how to deal with people. I mean, sometimes you got to deal with people in life. You got to deal with certain people a certain way, and sometimes you got to laugh them off and like they may be all this high and mighty. But then you got to realize that you're just acting like a child, you know. You got to kind of put them, you know, into a level. I mean, it's like, but in that moment, as it's going on in that moment, you're trying to just remain composed, keep your composure, but at the same time, you don't want to lose your cool either. It's like, oh gosh, you know. All right, you know. So in a way, it's training. You got to train for certain things, you know, and certain times. You're going to get people that don't like you, going to call you names. Oh, you're not an INFJ. I mean, oh, yeah, whatever, you know. It's like, please do tell me, you know. But, yeah, so it's just a way of just, you know, I think at some points it's training, you know, so you know how to deal with certain people. You know, you can't just know they got the better of you, I guess. I guess she's going to be one of those who are just going to test you. Absolutely, yeah. God will send you different challenges. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. You know, that's a few weeks ago. There was somebody else in there in the chat. I mean, it was about 3 weeks ago. I was on a live, and it was somebody different came in. That was doing similar things like that. Not exactly the same stuff, but just I recognize it like troll stuff. You know, that's troll behavior. These are ones that come in, they just try to kind of wreck the peace a little bit, try to get you off your mark. You know, that's all. So, but anyway, no, it's so yeah, we're approaching now 900 on the subscriber list though. That's all. But okay, how long have I been here? Over 2 hours anyway. I might have to check my phone integrity here. I think I have about a good 3 hours at least. Now, I've already made a pact with myself not to go too long. I don't want to do these marathon ones where maybe Friday night. Now, Jethro's still out there. Jethro out there. We're going to do this one on Friday night. I think I might do a little bit more of a marathon one on Friday. But I wanted to do one today, and I didn't want to go too far beyond me burning out the battery. But I've already been here a couple hours, though. And I tell you, 2 hours, just like I said, people, it goes by like very fast. And I don't even recognize the time. It just goes by so quick. So, yeah. Friday, yes, John started. Friday, I'd say, John, you've been hanging out. Maybe it's because I caught you at a good time here. A good time. I'm thinking I might start... I don't know, sometime Friday night, maybe not too late, or maybe I'm not sure, right? Maybe later in the afternoon. Like right now it's 6:15. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're here. Okay, no, I figured you were. You were just kind of quiet a little bit. Yeah, we were gonna definitely do one for Friday. That's definitely planned on another live Friday. Yeah, but I'm thinking make that a little bit longer one. I'll do a longer broadcast at that point, you know. But yeah, so I had a few new people come in. So some of the newer people come in, they hang around. Some stick around, some don't, or just pass through, you know. But then there's the core. There's the Breakfast Club, as I called it before. Remember that? Hey, speaking of that, right? Speaking of the Breakfast Club, right? I couldn't help myself, but I went on I went on YouTube a little bit and I was looking up Breakfast Club. And I'm like, now that I'm thinking about the movie, I didn't watch the whole movie. You got to pay for that, right? You have to pay for it. But I was watching like just tidbits where they were all like having lunch together. And but yeah, if you remember, all these kids had a different personality. There was one kind of a like a smart kid. Then there was another kid that was always in trouble. And there was like another girl. She was like, remember, she was always dark and she would sit alone, and she was crunching like cereal on her sandwich, and she was dumping tons of sugar on everything, and she was crunching her sandwich. It was look awful. So everybody had a different set of troubles in there, you know. But me, oh, that's you, Vamp. You that would be you. Oh, you were that. I forget her name, but that was Ali Sheed. Yeah, and then Molly Ringwald. She was like, what was she? Kind of a diva or something? Kind of a diva kind of girl, or something on that idea. I mean, they all had different characters. And then there was the one punk kid. You know, he was like the bully kid, but he was always in trouble. He wore the gloves with the fingers cut off. Yeah. Tom, I felt really bad when you thought that my psych ward comment was directed at you. And one of the, come on, man, don't tell me you thought about that. No, why you explained it. No, first I was trying to figure out. I didn't know where it was directed, but when you explained it, I know it. No, don't worry about that, man. Not at all. Don't worry about that. You know, I absolutely get that. I just, but again, that was another troll that was just throwing stuff on a chat. Remember, like on the comments on that video. You know, I think he didn't like I had American flag in the back. Remember, it was all about the Declaration of Independence, and then he was triggered with oh yeah, the flag is evil, and he was just about the American flag. Yeah, they go to red, white, and blue. I mean, I grew up in school. We all grew up in school. Anybody in the United States. And if you're from a country, I mean, I'm sure, again, Jason, right? You know, he's from Great Britain or Wales. I'm sure the Union Jack is, you salute that thing. That's your national flag. And even in Australia, I mean, with you, what is it, Vamp? You got the Union Jack is in the middle. And if I remember right, you got a Union Jack on the upper left-hand corner. And then the rest of it is like, it's blue with couple of stars like representing all the states or the territories, and what are they, like 6 stars or something. It's but it has the Union Jack, but the United States has its own, I mean, stars and stripes. And hey, I mean, I grew up respecting that flag. We would pledge allegiance. I know sometimes there's some people that are anti-American now. There's some people now. This guy obviously was one of those, and he was saying that it was evil and demonic and everything just to show the American flag. I mean, I kind of, I just take offense to that a little bit, only because it shouldn't be like that. But there's a lot of that going on, propaganda, even in our own school system now, cutting down our own national flag as well. You know. And me, I got flags all over here. I got little symbols of American flags all through my house. I really do. I got tons of them. And I got one hanging out inside on my main front porch. I got an American flag. I just keep that thing there. So, I mean, and again, and I know, and harp, I've seen the Brazilian flag. I know it's that green one. And it's got like that circle in the middle, looks like a globe, and it says Ordem e Progresso. Ordem e Progresso. Order and progress. I bet you, I know, Hidden Harp saying, man, how does he know that, huh? I do it, right? Order and progress is what it's translated. Hey, there it is right there. Hey, that's it. But that's what that, in the middle of that says, Ordem e Progresso. Is what it says, order and pro. I love that you're a patron. So am I. Yeah, there you go. A patriot. So am I. Well, I try to be. I try to be as patriotic as I can. I mean, I never fought in a war or anything like that, but I try to respect, what America stands for. That's all. That's all I can do. I still believe in the freedom that America has. Yeah, that's all. I know sometimes people get offended with that, and I know we're all from different parts of the world here, and some of us never visited America, but believe me, some of these places I'd love to visit. I'd love to go to UK just for visit. I'd love to see England. Ride on one of those double decker buses, maybe ride on the upper level in those buses, or maybe try some of the food out there. You know, go to Ireland. Yeah, I'd like to do that someday, but I mean, I don't know how that's going to be. Jason, come on over. That's right. You're in Wales. Yeah, no, I would definitely check that out. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to be very, very wealthy in order to travel. I mean, then travel to Australia. Good gosh, that's like a 24-hour flight out there. That's like halfway around the world. That takes a long time. And of course, that would take thousands of thousands of dollars to go visit down. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars to take a vacation down there. But that would be something interesting. I mean, all I can base it on is what we see on movies or what we see in photographs and things like that. But it must be, we have the most castles anywhere in the world. Yes, yes. I know. I thought Germany. I thought Transylvania, like that. I thought a lot of them were out in like the Belgium, uh, Germany, even France. I thought some of those northern, like northern European areas had a bunch of them too. But you're telling me England has the most castles? Yeah. Uh, okay, I'd like to visit Australia because I've gotten along with pretty much every Aussie I've met. Okay, there you go. Yeah. No, Wales has the most. Oh, Wales. Oh, you're not talking Great Britain. You're not talking the entire island. You're just saying Wales has the most castles in the world. Is that right? Okay. I mean, you're telling me that. I didn't know that. I mean, yeah, but but those castles are like, yeah, they're like they look really majestic. I mean, they really do. They just got those towers and moats and yeah, something else. Okay. Uh, I'd just be terrified of the insects there. So, Hayden, you don't like bugs? I bet, yeah, I can imagine. Hey, insects could be terrifying anywhere you go, really. Hey, have you ever gone down to Florida? You go down south, you go down to like Florida where they got a hot, very humid climate. And they have a very long growth season as well. Some of the insects, I remember back when I was this must have been about 30 plus years ago, and I was still living in Massachusetts, and I was working with this guy, and he went on vacation down to Florida, right? And he came back about a week later, and he was a fishing. He liked to fish. He brought back this grasshopper. I'm telling you, the thing was that big, and it was like fat, like that big around. It was huge, biggest grasshopper I'd ever seen, and he was from Florida. And usually the ones we get up here, they're small, like an inch, maybe. They could get up 2, 3 inches, but they're not as big as that because they don't have quite the growth season. But you get them down to Florida, and because the humid weather and the growth season, how long it stays warm, they grow much bigger. They have a much longer growth cycle. But you want to go down to Florida, man. They should see the bugs down there. Because of Henry Long. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to know Wales. That's the most. Yeah, I guess so. About the conversation, okay. Honestly, most insects are outback. Oh, are in the outback. Outback is like the desert part of. That's the very like. There's a lot of shrubs and desert out in that area. And that's in the west. Is the outback. So a lot of your big bugs are out there, huh? Because of Henry Lonshank of Evil King of Braveheart in Braveheart. Oh, that's why they built those castles, right? That's right. Because it was they were more of a fortress. They were able to keep out yeah. And plus you had a vantage point so you could shoot them with arrows or guns back then, whatever. You could pick them off easier from a vantage point from those towers. Yeah, they had their advantages. I live on insects and spiders, but my partner and friends don't. I'm usually the one that has to get rid of them. Oh, okay. So vamp, so you like all that stuff. I'm okay with spiders. I mean, some insects I'm all right with. Funny thing is, sometimes I got a real soft spot for animals. I really do. It's funny you bring up insects because I mean animals in general. I have a soft spot for, and I usually, I'm kind to them. I try not to. I mean, I don't bother them unnecessarily. But even insects, I'm even like that way with insects where I'm actually compassionate. Like if I'll see, and I'm the type where if I see a bug drowning in the water and it's swimming and I know it's going to drown and it's in the water and it's caught there like a fly, and I could be doing my job, and if I see it, and if I'm close, if it's in within my sight, I'll scoop it out of the water and I'll dry it off. I'll let it, it's all like saturated, and I'll go find a leaf or like I'll put it away from the water, and then hope it dries off and it lives. And I've done things like that all my life. Even as a kid, I used to do that all the time. I'd always save bugs. I didn't care how small they were. I felt they were still an animal. They're still a life. And I still do that. I mean, I was weird like that. I don't know if any people do. Have you ever done that? Maybe tell me in the chat. That I think is part of us. Is that feeling, that connection. And so I've actually said that it has no boundary in some ways. It even small insects, flies, bugs are basically they get our protection as well. I mean, within the vicinity, we're usually protectors anyway. If we're around people, if something's going on, we're usually the ones that step in trouble. We just do that. But I have done that, Tom. Yeah, so you've done that too. I mean, I've always thought that was weird. Like, I mean, I've seen frogs and things like that were in like areas that were gonna get, like I'd be bailing tires out and I'd see a frog and I'd make sure I'd put it out in more water. I wouldn't just dump it on the ground or step on it. Like other people, I'd see them like just throw it. I'd always be gentle with it, I never liked when other people would just disregard it like it was just a bug. They'd step on it like nothing. It always bothered me, when I'd see that. But, I mean, you can't stop other people from doing it. But it always kind of hurt me, like seeing people do that just to step on bugs. And still do. I'm still like that. I think that's, like I said, that's the sensitive part. I think that's part of, that's just part of our character. Yeah. I've rescued a native bee recently. Really? A native bee. A certain native bee to down there. So when you say you rescued it, meaning what was it like in the water or something? A lot of times you see them, they get into a puddle of water and they're going to die. They can't. They're always swimming around. And sometimes you scoop them out of there. Yeah. Oh yeah, I do stuff like that. That's good. I mean, that just means you have a heart. That means you have a certain heart and you have a certain respect for humanity. I mean, not humanity, but the world, just in general. I mean, that's part of who we are, is that we like to make sure that we protect the earth in our own way. And as long as something is not vicious, destructive, as long as it's not a biting insect, like obviously if an insect is hostile, wants to bite you, sink his teeth into you, sink his fangs into you, that's where I draw the line. I can take them out. I can swat them. But those are the ones that are aggressive to you. They want to bite you. But anything else, if they're not like that, as long as they're not trying to bite you or anything, I'm okay with it. I won't kill them or anything. My biggest fear is getting eaten by a great white shark and drowning at the same time. Oh, gosh. They are stingless. They were just found from flying around. They were just weak from flying around. I stopped killing bees because of the world. The world didn't have bees. We wouldn't have strawberries or potatoes or French. Okay, got it. Yeah, because they're pollinators. Yeah, of course not. Killing pollinators is they have a crucial. They have a crucial job in the world. In fact, we need pollinators, like you said. You must have saw the bee movie. There was actually a bee movie back about 25 years ago. It was like one of those Pixar movies. And that was what that was about how important bees were to pollinate the world. Yeah. And we need them. Yeah. Without them, we don't get our food. Yeah. They won't pollinate. There'll be no apples. There'll be nothing. Yeah. Absolutely right. Very good point there. Mosquitoes, no pass. Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, mosquitoes are another thing. Yeah. Mosquitoes, they're kind of like, because their only purpose is to bite you. That's all they want to do. And you see a mosquito, yeah, I usually kill those because yeah, that's one thing that is well again, that's on they're biting you, they're attacking you, they want to feast on you. So those bugs don't live. Yeah, that's the line I draw. That's emotional intelligence. That's like saying, hey man, these are the harmful ones. You can't leave those. You can't let those things live. Oh, the hell with mosquitoes. I hate them. Now we're talking about bugs. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think that's like I said, they are animals. I mean, a lot of times people disregard them. They don't even put them in the category as an animal. I mean, they're like a bug, and they're like somehow they're sub animal even, and so they're okay to step on. I don't think that way. I mean, I think they're another breed of animal. They're small. They're an animal. They're just tiny. They're insects, or they're arachnids, or whatever they are. But they're still an animal body. They're independent. They hunt. They forage. They reproduce. They have all the characteristics of what constitutes an animal. But like I said, a lot of times they're disregarded. They're put into a lower category. Okay, I agree with hidden. Yes. Yeah, about the mosquitoes. Yeah, I'm not big on mosquitoes. No, I'm not. Definitely not. I don't think any of us are. That's the only thing I think everybody would not would not. Okay, scrambled eggs are cooked, coffee made, and I'm here listening to the oh, that's right. Hey, there you go. Vamp is having breakfast in the Breakfast Club. Yeah, there you go. It is actually her breakfast time right now. Well, awesome. That's awesome. See, there you go. Coffee, scrambled eggs. Hey, scrambled eggs. Oh, gosh. Everybody's talking about food right now. I mean, Harpad, he was eating his Jamaican jerk over there and scrambled eggs. Okay, Jason, I'm off to bed. Got to go to work tomorrow. Love you all. Hey, Jason, man, it was nice talking to you. You stuck around for a while, man. You were here for a while. Yeah, definitely. Got to work in the morning. I mean, I'm getting as many of these lives out now because next week I go back to work. So good night, Jason. Yes. Yeah, good night, man. Excuse me. There are vampire bats in real life. I know that. Vampire bats. Hey, don't you have them in Aussie? Don't you have those down there? I know a lot of them are actually in Central America. Like Mexico has a type of vampire bat that lives down there. Yeah, that's right. Vampire bats. Well, yeah, they definitely. Well, that's what they do. They live off the blood. I mean, that's basically what they base Dracula on. Yeah, the whole cape and the creepy hands and the fangs. Yeah, they base Dracula on the vampire bat. Yeah. So, hey, now your name is Vampy Fox. Is that part of Vampy? Is like Vampy, like a vampire, Vampy? Is that what that is? A Vampy Fox? Is that would be? Is that what that is? Like a vampire bat? Because a lot of times they say that the flying foxes, they call some of these species, they look like they got the wings, they fly, but they got that dog-looking fox face, the flying fox. And some of those vampire bats, they have like that face that looks like a you can tell like a rodent almost. I mean, so I didn't. Now that I'm thinking about it, like Vampy Fox, is that something with Vampy Foxy? I didn't know if that had something to do with it, Vamp. I wasn't sure if that's how you got your name in there or whatever. But I know 88, that's probably the year you were born, right? Something like that. Yeah. So, peanut butter toast. John's eating peanut butter toast, huh? All right. Night, Jason. Vamp is currently, it's 15:33 for me, and I'm having lunch. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's only 3:30 in the afternoon, 15:33. That's right. That's it. Hey, so we're all eating different things out here. So everybody's having something. Oh, we're gonna have a beer. Hey, that's right. That's right, Jethro. I said that's another thing. Friday. Hey, if anybody wants to all have a beer at the same time, we could do that. Maybe during. Hey, when we're all here, we'll crack a beer. How's that? And then no matter where you are in the world, we'll drink a beer at the same time. Friday night. What do you think, huh? Huh? We'll plan for that. Okay? Because I got some beer in my fridge. I'm going to wait to crack one with you guys, all right? I did too in a bit. I used to bite people when I was younger. Oh, you used to bite people when you were younger, Vamp? It was joke play on words. Oh, I see. Oh, you bit people. Oh, is that what it is? Okay. You were a biter, huh? Whoa. Okay, Justin. We'll have a beer and listen to "I Drink Alone" by George Thorogood. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, as much as I'd like to play that here and post it, I would get a copyright infringement. I even think, yeah, this like I said, YouTube's like that. I couldn't play it on the, but we can think of that. Yeah, because hey, but we'll all be drinking alone, but we're all in different. We're kind of like alone, but at the same time. All right, okay, yeah. So we get the seven. Hey, it's always seven watching. I notice when it all boils down to it. So, yeah, definitely George Thorogood, huh? But let's see. I just need to check on something here. All right. We're still looking at, okay. Still just looking at, and I'm trying to update my thing here, okay. So let's see. All right. So we've had an interesting chat so far. That's all. We definitely have. So, yeah, we're going to definitely plan that out then. I should probably come up with a time. I mean, what's a good time? It seems like everybody that is here. What time is it right now? It's 6:38, almost 7 o'clock. Most of us are here. Most of us here. I mean, maybe 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. But a lot of times, some of you people hang around. Most of you hang around for hours. We hang around together like it seems like a long time. I mean, some of you might even hang around till like 11. How about 5 in the morning? Most of you, we were all, remember it was 5 in the morning. I look and I'm like, oh, the sun is coming up. And I got to go to bed here. And I couldn't believe. But then again, I think I started that at 11 at night, maybe 12 at night. And then I just hung around and it was like a 5-hour broadcast. And I just forgot the time. I really did. But yeah, sometimes I do that. But it's awesome though. Yeah, but it's time for. Oh, it's time for lunch. My food just arrived. Did you do DoorDash or something, or is Uber Eats? Must have done like have it delivered to you, do you? I would imagine you had it. Your food is just arriving. I'm thinking you had it shipped to you. All right. Yeah, I did Uber back a couple of years ago. I tried doing Uber. I mean, I had to pay some extra taxes and it was all right for a bit of time. It made me some money, but I had enough of it. Like it's almost like I could only take it for so long. Like I took it for a summer, and then finally I got off of it, and then it was like, no, I don't want to do that again. I mean, dealing with people. It's funny thing is, I mean, it's almost like I could only deal with that too long. I mean, most people, all right, you just give them a ride. Some people are, you just never know. And some people were just all out mean to you. I mean, occasionally I had a couple of people I didn't like dealing with. Certain cities I never liked going into. I mean, big cities, there was a lot of cab fare there, a lot of fare in these cities, but just not good cities at night. Kind of dangerous, kind of hostile. Yeah. The common fox we have around my area is the speckled flying fox. Oh, see, flying fox. I told you how they call them that. That they have that look. Now, don't you have the fruit eater bats down there? The ones that just they eat fruit. They call them fruit bats, and they eat a certain like tree, like apples on the tree, and that's what they eat. They don't, and a lot of, okay, you got vampire bats, you got certain ones that eat mosquitoes, eating moths and bugs, things like that. They're carnivores, but then you got the ones that there's a fruit bat. I thought they were, maybe they're in South America. I mean, I'm not sure what continent they're from, but some of these things get massive. Some of these bats get huge. Some of them have like a 5 foot wingspan, some of them. I mean, they're massive, they're big. I mean, the ones we get here in North America, they're just little bats. The biggest bat I've ever seen is probably maybe like a 6 inch wingspan, and they look like a little demon. You know what I mean? They got these little faces on them. They got these, they got that, like a little like a mouse, but they look like a little devil. Some of the small bats. Have you ever seen the face on those? They do. They look like a little demon. That's why they get associated a lot with like devils and demons because they have that look about them. They just do. But then you got some of these flying foxes. They don't look like that. They look more like just like a dog, like a little dog or a fox face. Yeah, those ones eat the fruit. Yeah, that's probably the ones I'm talking about. They actually call that a type of fruit bat. They eat the fruit. Those flying foxes. And are those out in Queensland, or do you have those in different territories? I'm not sure where exactly. They're actually puppies. Yeah, like a puppy face. I could see that. Yeah, the puppies or something like that. Yeah, definitely. Vamp fox. Yes, yes, I could see that. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, like I said, that. So you do have them in Queensland. You have your those bats because there's a lot of. I think those ones are in most of the wooded areas. I think there's some forest area in Australia. Isn't most of the forest area along the coast where you have a lot of your big cities tend to be on the coast? Probably for obvious reasons. That's where most of your ports are, most of your commerce and trade, and you're going to receive goods and things from shipping. So you want to have your big cities naturally on the coast for that reason. You have to have access to, main ports. I mean, that only makes common sense. I mean, that's just the way it's built. Major cities are on major portways. They are common in eastern Queensland. Oh, okay, eastern Queensland. There you go. All right. Definitely. I can understand that. Yeah. So, oh, my gosh. Yeah. Well, people, I got to tell you something. I've been here for almost 2 hours. I'm not even sure how much battery time I got left here. Give me 1 second. I just got to check things out here. In the meantime, you can watch me watching me. All right? Okay, we got here, oh my gosh. That's my screen. How do you like me, huh? Yeah, that's me watching me watching me. It's like a mirror in a mirror, isn't it? What do you think of that idea? I'm just trying to get the battery. I want to see how much battery life. Okay, I'm down to 20% battery. Okay. All right. I just needed to. But anyway, that's the look of my new TV screen, my new monitor right there. So, yeah, that's the one I've just had for less than a week. I just got the whole thing, and so, but yeah, I got 20% on the battery. So, what I'll end up doing is I'm gonna just kind of wrap it up in a little bit. It seems that all this talk about eating dinner and eating food and stuff is kind of getting me a little hungry here. So. But anyway, people, so on closing, though, I'm going to thank everybody for hanging out with me again. You can see them flying. You can see them sky flying and sometimes in the dark. Oh, okay. Yes. That is what happens when two INFJs stare at each other in an infinite mirror. Ah, gosh, you just had to throw that in there. So your mind goes there, doesn't it? Yeah, I know. That's that whole abstract thinking. Yeah. Hey, there's a video. It's one of my very, very early videos. And in fact, I actually describe that. There's a video where I take my camera and I get excuse me. I'm speaking too fast. I stutter. Let me slow down. I got my camera and I went into the bathroom and I got another mirror behind me. And I kind of did a film where I was filming inside the mirror. And then I zoomed in on that whole mirror thing where, you get smaller. And then I said, now this is a demonstration of how the abstract mind of the introverted intuition is a good demonstration of how it works. But I also said, now you got to check this one out, Harp. If you get a chance, scroll down to in my inventory, and I think it's called INFJ Intuition Explained. If you get a chance, check that out. But I do just that. I take the phone and I'm holding it and I'm like, hey, I'm just talking like, so this is how, the introverted intuition works. It's like, but imagine this depth of that you're looking deep in, but imagine it going in every different direction, going sideways, outer, like almost like spanning out in every direction from that depth that we're talking about. You see what I mean? And I said, and that's basically what the mind is like of the INFJ when they're trying to future see things, when they're trying to piece things together. It's like that way of looking deep into your mind, the way the mirror thing was, but in many different directions, like a sphere. I still remember that. I think I recorded that thing. It was one of my first 10 videos. It was one of the first earliest videos I've put out there. So, IN is infinite, LOL. Yes, that's my point. So I use that as a comparison, but it's funny you said that. You compared that to being like the intuition, like INFJ, like back in Mirror in a Mirror. But I did a video like that. I mean, it's an earlier video that I had. Like I said, it's way back in the inventory. I don't think it got a lot of views, but then again, that was when I was first starting. But I did do something like that. In fact, I haven't seen that one in months. It was just kind of an obscure video that I put out there, But I liked it. I mean, it was just a good way of describing how the introverted intuition works. That's all. So, oh my gosh. But anyway. Yeah, the infinite mirror. It's just like that, huh? So how's your food there, Harp? How's that Jamaican jerk stuff you're having there? Is that all right? I'm sure you're eating right now as you're listening, I'm thinking, right? Okay. I would have guessed that. All right. All this talk of food is making me hungry. I'm thinking I'm gonna have a cutoff time right around 7 o'clock, okay? As much as okay, delicious. Okay, good. I'm good. Just finished. Oh, you just finished it then. Good. All right. Well, people, I do notice when I get really deep in conversation, when I start having a monologue and I start talking about psychology and I start talking about the mind, I know that watcher thing goes right up. It starts going up like double where it is, and the people are starting to tune in. And then when we just start, talking like shooting the breeze, it goes down to just us, I notice it's usually like 7. I've noticed that there's a pattern. It's like there's always 7, 6 or 7. That's the core that I see on every one of my lives, around this time. So I guess you all like these lives, and I'm glad you're out there. That definitely do. So. But, yeah. Well, anyway, I think we had an interesting chat. Most of you people have been here for most of it, too. Some of you have been here the whole time, I think. Well, most of it, anyway. So, but I definitely want to thank everybody. Thank everybody for doing that, for showing up. It means a lot to know that there's a good following out there, too. It's good to know that there's new people out there that are reaching out for help, and I'm trying to be good to everybody and respectful as I can, unless you say you're like, unless you think you're better than everybody, it's okay. We won't go there. We won't go there. Then you got to be made sport of that there. That's all. But, but like I said, it's nice to have everybody, just out there. You know what I mean? I look forward to that. So. Enjoying it. Okay, well, Justin, that's awesome. It's good to see everybody's out there. Like I said, Justin, man, don't sweat it. I think that bothered you to think that I thought for a bit that comment was directed at me. See, I'm not surprised because I do stuff like that too. If I think somebody misunderstood me, misread me, and was somehow perturbed by that, and then I found out about it, it bugs me too. I'll think about that too, and I'll be like, I want to make sure I address it like it did with you. I'm like, yeah, that's typical, man. That's something that we do. I could see that being something typical of us because I do that stuff. Little things bother me too when I know that somebody misunderstood me and took it the wrong way. But no, I mean, but once you explained it, I'm like, it didn't make sense. It's what it was. I kept thinking, it doesn't make sense. Why would he say that? He's like, he was on the line. Why would he wouldn't insult me? Like that makes no sense. It never dawned on me. Hey, no, he's talking to the whack job over here. He's commenting about that guy. I'm like, of course you were, but I didn't know. You know what I mean? It is. It's one of those things I'd like to turn off at times. Haha. Yes, yes. You can only help those who stick around. Of course you can. Yeah, yeah. Enjoy it, Tom. Yeah. No, that's good. So, but that's all we can do is, just be there. I mean, typically, like I said, I like to get into like a little bit of I like to get into some monologues every so often. But occasionally it's good just to kind of relax a little bit. And you stick around when I do that because a lot of times when I start doing that, people go away. I notice that, when I just start talking like random stuff about bats and eating food, I know that's kind of small talk. It kind of is, but it's still not, it's not like gossip and everything. It is, but it isn't. But it's all right. Sometimes you got to lay it. You got to kind of reel it in a little bit and just have like some laid back conversation too. And there's nothing wrong with that. You got to do that sometime. I mean, you can't just sit here talking all this philosophy and science and nature constantly. I mean, there's a time and a place for it, and then there's a time where you got to get laid back a little bit, just kind of bring it back. So, but that's good. All right. So Friday there, my breakfast club, and oh, by the way, it might be early Saturday morning for you, Vamp. It could be. I mean, I have to address that, and it might be that time being where you are. But for us, for where I am in my time zone, it'll be Friday night. Most of us, it's like a Friday night variation. But yeah, we'll hang around, and when we're all here, I mean, we'll crack a beer, and we'll just know that on our prospective areas, wherever we are, we'll know we're all having a beer together. That would just make my day. What do you think? I would think that would make our day. What do you think? That'd be cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, there you go. One time, the only time I like small talk is when I sense it will fall into a rabbit hole. I know, anytime we could go there, right? Yeah, you got that right. Anytime it could, wow, that's a good point. See, sometimes you just say things that just are cool, Yeah, one of those things you like to turn off. Harp, good point, haha. Very off into Shizu territory. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what it is. I think all of us are like that. I've always been a rabbit hole guy. I'd always just steer into things, and I think that's all part of who we are too. It's because our mind is like a massive amount of rabbit holes. Why do you think we have intuition? Why do you think our mind is so abstract and the way it is? That's a reflection of our mind. A lot of times that's who we are. When we talk, when we just communicate, I mean, we have that world, that inner world, that intuition going. And as some things are getting revealed, I mean, you're starting to see these images and these shapes, these patterns, and all of a sudden you try to bring them into your speech. And it turns into like this deep labyrinth of mazes in a way. It's just you're going down rabbit holes, and it could be about different subjects, all many different subjects, everything, depending on what's being said. Like schizophrenia, schizo for sure. Oh, okay, I could tell. See, Justin, you saw the puzzle look like I didn't quite get the name schizo, so you had to clear that up. Boy, you're intuitive. You read that, didn't you? You read that. I mean, I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, schizo. I should have known. Schizo. I didn't even really think about that. Schizophrenia. Exactly, man. But coffee is good all day. Yeah, there you go. I know. Coffee is always good. Yeah. Hey, if you don't drink beer, if you don't have to, yeah, listen, I'm not pressuring you. If you don't want to have a beer, you can have a cup of coffee, have a soda. It doesn't have to be alcohol. I mean, I'll just choose a beer. But if anybody wants to, you can have whatever you want. Yeah? But as long as we're gonna have a drink together Friday night. That's the bottom line, you know. That's fine, you know. All right, it's getting close to 7 o'clock. My gosh, yeah. Well, people, I got 10 watching now. Hello, if there's anybody new out there, if you're brand new to the channel, if anybody's new, this is Tom, the INFJ Experience, and I want to welcome you to the show. Unfortunately, I've been here for 3 hours, people, and as much as I would hope you join in on this chat and keep this going, I'm going to be signing off soon. But I am glad you showed up. But if anybody is interested, I will be doing another one live on Friday about this time, Friday night as well. We're doing another live. All right, all good. I know what you meant. I knew what you meant. Yeah. Okay, I get that. Yeah. All right. So, all right, people. I don't want my phone to die here, and so we're planning a time we're gonna hang out again Friday night for sure. All right. All right. This is good. All right. Well, people, I want to thank you all for hanging around again. And I know I say that every time, but I mean, what else can I say? What else can I do? What can I say? You know, I'm just so glad that you like to, that you find these chats fascinating and you find them helpful. You know, I just do. And for some reason, I think because we keep coming back, and good night, everybody, Vamp. Hey, because we keep coming back all the time, I mean, because we must be tight. There must be a tightness there that you're drawn back to these conversations, and you like to stick around because it brings you in, and so if it makes you feel like you're less alone and less weird in the world, well, we always feel weird. We're the weird bunch, you know. But if it makes you feel a little bit less weird, we're not weird amongst each other. You know that? It's almost like we cancel each other out with our weirdness. How do you like that idea, huh? So if you ever want to not feel weird, you just got to hang around with a bunch of other INFJs because you're all the same. You know, then you're all like in the same camp. It's everybody else out there that doesn't see the way you see it. Now they become the weird ones, it seems. Well, they just, they can't understand that stuff, right? So, all right, Tom and all of Vamp Fox, have a good night. Yes, thank you too. All right, everybody's saying good night. So thank everybody for hanging around with me. So, all right, 7 o'clock is rolling around. Okay, and I'm going to go have some dinner myself there, people. All right, awesome. So I'm going to have to dress this thing up and put this on a new broadcast. If anybody's interested, if anybody didn't hear all this, it will be rebroadcasted almost immediately after. I think it streams it again in its entirety. If anybody's interested, all right, that just joined. All right then. Okay, people. As you know, as I say all the time, thank you so much for attending today, and until the next time, until Friday night. All right. Everybody have yourself a wonderful rest of your day. And until Friday. Thank you again, people. Have a good night. I love you all.